people, sorry I'm late. I can only apologise. Bear with me 2 seconds. I hope this doesn't get me bad reviews. Yep. So just bear with me a wee second. Right. So, how you doing, people? Before I get into this, I'll just go through the usual. This platform's purely an investigation into the objective reality that we all share. There is no claims to know where we are. We deny the claims that are made to us in regards to the globe, the Earth being a globe. And that is it. It's an ongoing investigation, pure and simple. So don't let any of the illogical chaps out there convince you that, you know, we are representing anything other than that stance. That is purely it. Merrill, happy birthday, man. Hopefully get to speak to you shortly. What else? Yesterday's events. What can I say about yesterday? For anybody that doesn't know, I had announced, you know, an event for activists to get together in the town centre. I appreciate, you know, the genuine people who showed up, but for me, lesson learned. I think these things have to be done in private, so that you're not announcing exactly where you're going to be, you know, because I'm pretty sure you'll get people showing up to waste your time. I met some nice people at my street, and you guys who showed up, the genuine people, to take part, credit to you. You know, we've seen what happened yesterday, and again, it's a lesson for everybody. If you're organising these things, and by the way, you know, high street activism could be really useful, and it can be a bit of a threat. So if you're getting involved in anything like that, keep it private between your own groups. Don't advertise it to anybody, and just get out there and show up randomly wherever it is you're planning without announcing it. Again, you know, for me it was lesson learned. So 2 seconds. Hi, but you know, it wasn't a totally fruitless afternoon. There was some nice people that we'd met, people who were aware of the subject that came up to speak to us as well. So you know, and it's really, really useful, because if that, you know, the amount of people where we actually were was a pedestrian area in Glasgow, and there was so many people walking by, having a look. And again, you know, if they're seeing that, it's enough to trigger their thought, hopefully. But I'll be repeating it. I'm just not going to advertise where I'm going next time. So usual tonight, if you'd like to come in for a chat, any topic, send an email to nocurve@gmx.com, and we'll have the phone number here as well. The phone will be going on right now. Yeah, number is 07393 654 544. I'm going to try my hardest not to F and blind tonight. I see that my reviews are not very good. You know, there's some grumblings that the big Scottish guy in the shed keeps swearing. That's not going to represent Flat Earth very well. You know, fuck all that rubbish. You know, there's a character for everybody. You know, different people appeal to different people. And it matters not who the person is and their characteristics. If I'm sitting here in my shed fucking and blinding, that's all very well. If I go into the street and I'm meeting people, I'm polite, mannered, respectful, you know, and that's what's important. If I'm sitting here in my privacy, in my shed, it's up to people if they want to watch or not. So if my fucking and blinding is upsetting you, sorry. Simple as that. Uppercut, I'm no listening. I'm taking the piss. You know? Again, you know, all this, watch out for these characters. who are continually going on about how somebody's behaving and how they're representing flat earth. You know, the information's the information. You know, it doesn't matter who the person is that's representing it. Fuck it. It's up to the people to discern and who they take it from. Matters not a jot. Nobody is perfect. Marshall, you there, mate? No? No, you're there. If you're there, I'm not hearing any sound, mate. So how we doing? Peeps in chat. Martin Leakey, how you doing? Squirrel Sniper, Dan W, you there now, Marshall?
Test, mate.
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
Right, cool. Maybe intermittent today, dude. My power keeps dropping out here, so I'm here for the minute though.
Nah, no problem. Just let me know if anybody's coming in. I've not really got much to say tonight. I'm a bit rushed.
Well, I'm gonna mail out to Kurtwood Nick right now because he missed the opportunity to comment the other day.
Cool.
And I believe Merle has got a birthday appearance today, mate.
Nice one. Nice one.
I expect he'll be along in a little while. And as always, people, the number or the address is nocurve@gmx.com. So if you fancy a link and come and have a chat, just mail us in.
Yeah. I've got some messages coming through in this phone, so I'll come back to the chat in a wee minute. Hey Dale, great stuff, brother. Keep it real. Opened my eyes. Thank you. Did you read my messages? I said, have you ever wondered about when you break the word compass down, it's telling us to come, pass, and showing us the way out of this place? I wanted to know what you thought about what I suggested about the compass. Well, if there's a way out, then I'm up for it, you know. You could look at it as a clue, you could buy into that, you know, that's what the compass means, come, pass. I mean, who knows? Also, life could be one big game and the objective is to find our way out of this place before we die and the time is up, question mark. Well, again, it's a theory that I thought about. Regardless, I've already expressed my opinions on what I think of this place. And for me, there's probably something significant. Whether it's a way out, access to some other place, I don't know. You know, all I know is that I'm determined to find out what the actual truth is, regardless of what it is and where we have to go. So again, we can go back to surmising and hypothesizing about what it is and what this word means, and you know, we need to start getting numbers up. We need to start pushing it to people that we need the exploration. And it's as simple as that. Again, you know, I'll just address that people are reporting to me that they're not getting access to the live thing. You know, my neighbour again saying that he's in real trouble trying to gain access, and I'm sure that's true for many other people out there. Again, it's not in our hands. There's absolutely nothing we can do about it. Hi Dale, good to bump into you in Argyle Street, Glasgow today. Hope for a meet up and a good natter. Cheers, Jimmy Fireblade. Nice one, Jimmy. Certainly, man. I'll keep a hold of that number. Dale, people should watch the Morgales video on Itchy Bum, Flat Earth Illuminati PSYOP. It provides a perfect example of how to research and destruct what a person has said, how to be discerning. It's a must watch. All the best, Lenny Harry. Texting cause still being targeted by YouTube. All the best. Good video for people to realise what is going on with animals and their food. Earthlings. Would appreciate if you would watch it, Dale, and share with others. Cheers, Lenny Harry. I might watch it, Lenny, but I think I'll read about what it actually is first, because I can imagine, and I don't really know if I want to sit and watch that, to be honest with you. As far as the Morgales video goes, I'll check that out as well. Cheers for letting me know. Chat does not work on live streams, so texting, could you ask Merrill to start his own channel, because we all love Merrill's chats. Keep up the great work. I am active as much as I can be. Stick to the basics. Water does not bend. Kind regards, Big Mac. Yeah, Merrill has his own channel there, and hopefully Merrill will keep at it. He's done some cracking wee 5-minute clips, just him speaking, and I see other people requesting that he does some live hangout stuff. So, you know, Merrill's channel's there, Merrill Beauregard. I'll get the exact spelling in a wee minute. We can stick it a link and Merrill can plug it himself when he comes on. Everything eats something else. Everything eats something else on Earth. The chance we aren't food of some kind is pretty small and an arrogant thought. In my honest opinion, food for thought, Kai. Well, this is it, Kai. Again, it takes me back to my conversation the other day. All these religious teachings and spiritual teachings, it's all geared round about somehow trying to accept this place and, you know, start from the assumption that you're meant to be here and this is it. And you know, I've got a real bee in my bonnet about that. So, bear with me. Dale, have you even thought of getting a bullhorn, loud hauler, and instead of talking to 1 or 2 people, you would have a crowd of them? Just a thought, Dave from London. Well, you know, I don't really want to be preaching. I'd rather, you know, set up like I done yesterday with the props and get people coming through their own inquisitiveness and then having, you know, engaging in dialogue with them rather than just screaming it out so that, you know, you're trying to convert everybody. I'm really not up for that at all. But definitely high street advertising, and if you could get it persistent, you know, it seems to be a real problem. Again, you know, if you're going out in the high street, don't announce it. If you're getting in groups, keep it yourself and get out there and do it. Hi Dale, have you looked at any DMT videos? Really interesting. Yeah. There's loads of them out there. You get guys like Terence McKenna and the people like that. But again, for me, you know, now when I spent years listening to them and I get back, it's all about, you know, giving yourself up to bewilderment and, oh, nobody's really in control, so just fuck it, just go with it. And, oh, you know, nobody that's ever taken any of these substances, no psychics, none of these fucking people has ever offered me anything seriously profound. It's all anecdotal nonsense. Again, you know, this stuff about the DMT, the majority I hear of these stories is, you know, again, going back to that, you know, basing it on the assumption that this is wonderful, life's a special, you're meant to be here. Nah, I ain't fucking buying it. Hi dude, I'm watching your stream. Hopefully we can talk sometime if you are interested. Take care, buddy Joe. Of course, Joe. You've got the number here. You could message me on the YouTube. Get in touch. Or obviously the platform's open. You can come in and speak, say what you want. Not for show. Okay, so I'm not going to read this out just now then. I'll read that after. So how are we, people? Who's here in the chat? I'll go right to the bottom. Mary at sea level, how you doing? No, did I say that? Lol, when moon is on your Mars, you have surge of passionate energy, and so if it's a bad spot you're in, that is really bad. But astronomy, astrology, whatever. Jumping again. How are we getting on with the link there, Marshall? Any response? No, Marshall's gone, I think. Flat enough beyond imagining occur. Apologies for me being mouthy about Merrill. I understand this is a platform for everyone. Any problem. You know, as I say, everybody's welcome to come and say what they like. I'm interested to hear from as many people as possible. It's not a Dell show. Far from it. I'm actually getting a bit tired of it. Yep. You got a visitor. Meryl, how you doing?
Yeah, good, Del.
Happy
Can you
birthday,
hear
man.
me? Oh, thanks. Thanks. Can you hear me all right?
You fine, mate?
Oh, good. Good.
You had a good day?
Yeah, yeah. It's always a good press pause, reflect on everything that's happened so far. Yeah, I always do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just sitting in bed.
You better keep the noise down.
Yeah, it'll be all right. She's well on board, now. Knows the deal. So
Good.
it's it's nice. Sort of all yeah, you know how it goes. You know how it goes.
Yeah. So what
So
you saying?
I was keen to you were talking about the clans and things like that, and I even heard Nick for Phuket Word was going to jump on, so I'm it's it's obvious to some of us that are like it's rare that now the situation we're in is far from my mind, and that's fine. Like I said, I'm on board, but I'm glad that it's that question you're asking, and just deeper questions in general. Like people want to get on and talk to you about it, because I guess you being in Scotland, like it's great talking to you like this, but that's the best thing about the Google Hangouts. I reckon that wherever you are on the plane, we can come together.
Yeah. And
link up. That's one of the best things about it. But what not to put you on the spot or anything, but have you carried on with what you were talking about with Ben? Like, have you kept thinking about the idea of clan and?
Yeah.
Because I come from if I trace my DNA and my ancestry back, which apparently some of my heritage comes from Motherwell.
Cool. Just along the road.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Is that an all right part of the woods or whatever?
It's the same as everywhere else, mate. You get you're good and you're bad everywhere.
Yeah.
Aye. The clan talk
Yeah.
was interesting, and it makes so much sense for us to, but we're talking in regards to how we could possibly live a better way of life. Assuming that this is where we are, we're meant to be here. There's nowhere else to go. Blah blah blah. And it makes total sense, as we say, the removal of hierarchy in all forms, especially where it's established in the family unit. Your birth parents are, that they're your biological parents, but they don't have any, higher stature than you. There shouldn't be anything, above anybody else or anything special. And in regards to a clan type mentality, where the children learn from everybody in the clan, and they learn the different skills. Everybody's involved in interacting. It makes perfect sense. That would, for me, produce strong, healthy minds. Yeah.
Do you know anything about why the clans broke up and they stopped being clans in the first place?
I don't know, mate. Again, it's gone in stories from history, but who knows? I mean, if we look at manipulation and the implementation of some of these ways of thinking, it could have been brought in slowly but surely that disbanded clans. I don't really know, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah.
Again,
I might give it. I was just going to say I might give it a read. Even if it's a bit biased or whatever, I'm still interested in stuff like that. Discernment filters on, but can always get a few bit of gold sifting.
That's it, mate.
Yeah.
It's, as I've touched on it before, where I've had experience going to East Germany back in the day, and how the people lived there, and that's pretty much what it was like. People shared skills, they shared knowledge, they got together. There was a real community, and people learned. There was not a lot of dysfunctional behaviour. So whether or not it's deliberate or just if you want to call it a natural process that's went on, who knows? But it's just theorising on how things could be better if we are meant to be here.
I'm a little, the tiniest bit, not scared. Scared's not the right word, but after our talk, I got a little bit of a not an ass kicking, but something's come up for me, and it's a little bit hard to explain. But because as you know, I'm not taking any substances. Everything's like straight up.
Yeah.
But it almost felt like some kind of ancestry or something paid me some kind of visit. Like, I don't know if it was in my dreams or what, but kind of getting the feeling like they're not happy, not with you or me, but it was like the vibe was like listen up, lad kind of vibe. And it was sort of like talking to me a little bit about the earth. Like, I'm not really a psychic or a medium or any of that, but something was coming through. And it was very much so like talk, maybe if you don't talk to Del about this, this will go further, like we'll hassle you about it. So you better have a word. And
we're getting
I was like, oh, but anyway, just let me quickly too. Is that all right?
Yeah, you're breaking up, Meryl. I hope that's not these spirits interfering with your signal.
Just give us 1 second.
Cool. Gravity sucks. Meryl, just tell us what they said. I'm sure he's going to get to the point.
Yeah. Yep, all good, all good. I just heard Mum get up too, so I just didn't want to be tripping out.
Yep.
I mean,
everybody's dying to know, Meryl. You have to get to the point.
Pretty much. Okay. Yeah. The other day when we were talking about different things, I'm agree with you more than I don't. Can you hear me?
You broke up there, mate.
I'm with you on most things.
Yeah.
And in me that wants to butt heads with you.
Yeah. Meryl, I'm getting...
Is it all breaking up?
Getting wee bits. Do you want to try just ejecting and coming back in again? See if that helps.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's just me that's experiencing it or if I'm coming across like that as well. Marshall, are you there?
Yeah. No, it's coming from Merle's end, dude. It'll probably be cool after he's refreshed. I'd like to know why I'm the only one that dressed for Merle's birthday.
So you have. I've just noticed the cat. We'll wait and see if Merrill can come back in. I'll go to the chat while we're waiting. AJC 1844, how you doing? Coming through fine. Adam Eves. Merrill, how can we hear you?
Me now?
Yeah, still a bit choppy there. No.
Yeah. I'll jump out. There's probably something weird going on. It's all right.
We can only make out that. Oh, he's gone again. Right, well, I'll just read some of the chat here while we're waiting to see if that resolves.
But if you've got Nick on, Facebook or something, or Skype, maybe it's worth sending him the link through that, because I don't know how reliable this mail is to Thailand.
I've not got my Facebook, my Skype's gubbed, so.
Well, if you pick his mail up, Nick, if you're listening, pick your mail up, dude. There's a link there for you.
He'll be in his bed. It's the middle of the night there. Anybody else who wants to come in and speak, it's nocurve@gmx.com.
Coral T in the chat saying, who does the number ring through to? The number rings straight through to Dell. So, well, we've got some quiet time, Coral. If you want to dial in, mate.
Hi, buddy. It's Jason from the Disbury family here. When it's convenient, I'm up for a chat. Excellent, man. Anytime. I've not got anything new to add, but don't let the bastards under your skin, bro. Peace, Colin. Cheers, Colin. Well, you were there yesterday, man. So again, I'm not going to say too much about yesterday. All it was a pleasure to meet some of the genuine people. But again, you know, if you're organising anything like this, don't broadcast it. Tahila Dale, low, nice one. Any better, Merrill?
How about now?
Oh, I heard that, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
This is Opera now.
You're still stuttering a wee bit though. You there?
Not Chrome.
You there, man?
Yep.
All right, I can hear you. Cool. So, you were saying?
Yeah, I just I was getting, just so I can get it out. That's not going to let me.
No, you're gonna have to reboot your router or something, dude. Try and find another route through the network, because it looks like you got some pretty low bandwidth at your end at the moment.
Okay, I'll get on it.
All right, then we'll see you at 10 or something, man. Yeah.
To be continued.
Cool. We'll just come back in, mate. Okay. Hi, Delrich from London. You seem a bit downbeat tonight. Just want to say that the real people will always be with you, and the cause. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine, mate. I'm just a wee bit tired and I've had a wee smoke, so you're up and you're done. Hello? You need to turn your YouTube view page, the volume down. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just watching that there. You know, I was watching a guy called Roger Peckett.
Right.
And he's resubmitting, what's his name, Brian Moses videos.
Right.
Back on the YouTube. Have you watched any of his videos, no?
Brian Mullen.
Yeah, Brian Moses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think of his stuff?
Well,
Your opinion?
my opinion is he puts out good content. And the last any of the stuff that I'd seen.
By the way, say happy birthday to Mel for me.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have heard that.
Yeah, say happy birthday to Mel for me.
Yeah, I'm sure he heard you.
Tell him I said hello to his mum as well.
Cool.
That's all I wanted to say.
Nice one, man.
See you later, man.
Take it easy.
There's people in chat asking where Brian Mullen is. Apparently he's dropped off everybody's radar unexpectedly.
Well, is it any, I can quite understand why, because the shit that goes on with this fucking thing is no easy. It can be draining. And if he's getting any unwanted attention, then I can totally understand why he's just walked away. And it's the same as anybody else who walks away. This is a strain on anybody, when you're involved in this shit. So I totally get it, but fuck them.
Yeah, obviously speculation's going to run wild. I mean, obviously because of where we are. So anybody thinking of sort of diving out, if you like, be letting people off the hook if you left some reason behind. And Brian, if you're listening, dude, people are out looking for you.
Yeah. And again, the guy puts stuff up on YouTube. It's then people think they're entitled to demand to know what the guy's up to in his life. It's not like that. If people are concerned about him, then by all means, I'm sure if he wants to let people know, then he will. But again, it's not an easy journey. This, it's a bit of pressure and stress to take with it. Somebody's writing there, Dale looks mighty fucked off. I'm not mighty fucked off. I have days where I'm tired, days where I'm drained, days where I'm fine. The same as everybody else. But, as I said before, I ain't going anywhere. The most important thing for me is to establish where I am. They can throw whatever the fuck they like, unless it's the fucking information that I require. They can fuck off. They can keep trying. So, fuckity, fuck. And plus, I had a wee smoke, so.
That's way too much fucking swearing, though.
Oh, no, for fuck's sake. I'm fucking sorry. So I seen a meme one time that said that the most intelligent people swear a lot. I'm buying into that and I'm going with it. Right? Yeah, cool. Hello?
Hello, who's that?
It's Dale.
Alright, Dale,
How you doing?
Just watching on YouTube now. You made a point before about like the DMC.
Yeah.
And the likes of Terence McKenna. Well, I came to the same conclusion. Like, I was reading the shitload, with Robert Anton Wilson.
Yeah.
And I started clicking on these, it's sort of like on the spiritual type shit. They're always saying the same shit. And there's no conspiracy. There's no one controlling anything.
Yeah.
And it's always like, turn me up a fucking cheat.
Yeah.
And I'm not being funny or nothing. If I can fucking work out that and they're fucking super intelligent fuckers. I'm not being funny or nothing, but I think they were like fucking. There was like rumours that he was a plant and all that, and it does fucking look that way. You know, like as things pan out, it does actually fucking look like that he was a fucking bit of a shell.
No, I mean he could very well have just believed what he was saying, you know.
Yeah.
But
there's always that like there's always like fucking, you know, obviously you know not everyone's gonna get onto it, but you think, you know, with their fucking, I always think if I can fucking get onto it.
Yeah.
And another thing is, well, I think like the last few years it's starting to become that blatantly fucking apparent now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like fucking smack bang right in our fucking faces, isn't it?
Yeah.
But to do with the flat earth stuff, like the stuff that I've clocked, like I'm one of them where, like, you know, because it's that mad, you can't, like, you know, it's like sometimes you think to yourself, am I fucking, like, going on one here, you know, like, fucking, but what I've thought is, you know, like, the inconsistencies with the curvature. What about if the fucking planet's bigger than what we're getting told? Like, it's not flat, but it's just bigger. You know what I mean? Like, there's more land.
Well, you know, it would have to be, but it would have to be a series of flat bits on a ball, you know, and somehow the water's still sticking to it. But
yeah, there's that as well. And I've got to say, you know, like them videos that you did, where like you were like fucking just going out and speaking to people, like calm and that.
Yeah.
They were fucking spot on, like.
Yeah.
Speaking to me brother about it, like I sent him the links, and I think that's the way that you fucking, you know, you get through to people, because you can actually see the pennies drop them, you know, as you're explaining it to them.
Yeah.
You can actually see them in the faces and that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's it.
Anyway, now, how do you get on Skype? So you know, like fucking, so I'm not using my mobile.
How do you get, sorry, what? Onto the
how do you get on Skype?
I'm not on Skype. This is on a Google Hangout. You have to have.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. If you were to send an email to nocurve@gmx.com, if you wanted to come in and just chat through the Hangout, we just send you the link. You click it and you come directly in. You know.
All right, so I'll give that a blast in a minute.
Aye.
All right, it was nice speaking to you, Bill.
Nice one. Cheers for
All
phoning.
right, cheers.
Take it easy.
I'll see you later, kid.
Cheers. So, yeah, you know what he's referring to, as I say, it's, you know, I listen to these psychonauts, these Terence McKenna, Robert Anton Wilson, and, you know, it's all, oh, let's rejoice in our bewilderment. Let's throw our hands up in the air and rejoice that we don't know fuck all. Just get out your nut on psychedelic drugs and, you know, go into imagination land, you know. Hey Dale, hope you're good, my friend. You've inspired me to start a new channel. It's called Flat Bastard, but B and ST and RD. I hope to fill it with small flat earth activism. Not the usual flat earth videos, but my small steps in spreading the word. Keep up the good work, Kev. Nice one, Kev. Again, you know, I'll promote anybody's channel, anybody who wants to come in and promote what they're up to. We'll even mirror it on the other channel that's connected to this one, which is Flat Earth Activism. So if you've not subscribed to that, there's uploads from various different people go on there. So check it out. That's right, Dale. You be yourself. If people don't like your swearing, then they can fuck off. It is your no-nonsense, take no shit attitude that will push this forward. Keep up the great work. Happy birthday to Meryl, Tony. Nice one, Tony. Thank you, man. Well, this is it. And, you know, if people go way back, this is the stuff I was talking about. There has to be so many different people, because different people appeal to all the other types of people that are out there. You know, that unfortunately is just a condition of people. They go by what they see in regards to your appearance. They don't have the ability to, you know, ignore that and go deeper into their discernment. They just react upon that surface. So it's good that we have different characters delivering it in many different ways, you know, which is why, you know, I strongly keep encouraging the activism in any way, shape or form that you can. In regards to you getting in groups and doing something like we done yesterday, getting into a high street and having a presence while you're advertising it, don't let anybody know that that's where you're going. Just get it organised amongst yourselves and show up randomly. You know, that's what's going to be happening in future. But here we go. Mero, are you all right now?
And 4.
Yeah. Good, right, quick, go, get to it. Hurry up.
Just more than anything, up the arse about the earth. That's basically it in a nutshell. The message came through to me loud and clear that the abomination part, I'm not going to put my life on this or anything, but the abomination bit is what we've put on top of the earth. You know, the cities, the roads, the systems, not the earth itself. You know, the kick up the arse I got was that, know what this place is,
yeah.
Show some respect, and this goes way back. Just be careful, son, because we could eject all of you wanted to, and it was a little bit like, whew. You know, and I don't know, but something came down the tube and it sort of gave me a bit of a shake. You know, I'm with you. Like, I don't disagree with you. I have always lived on planet Earth until we've come across this, you know, and I had no reason not to believe that. And, you know, the guy who was just on the phone with you help me, if he's still out there, or anybody who might be still tripping about this, was just realizing that, I mean, it's still, this was one of the things that was, my brain would flip out and then I'd still be going back and forth with it, like, where am I? Space out of the equation, which is a huge thing for a human mind to be able to do, especially when it's been a big fucking program in there.
Yeah.
But the only reason I can say that with confidence for myself personally, looking at things like star trails and all the movements, you know, of the sun orbiting and sucking the earth, and it's spinning that way and that's going that way at speed, and there's all these speeds, yet down here where you just open up a time-lapse camera, all perfect. No swishy swooshy light movements everywhere. To me, gives me a pretty clear indication that something's not moving. So something's moving and something's not moving. So it's still early days. Yeah.
Going back to your wee experience and saying about the abomination, you know, again, you know, I just challenge the accepted assumptions that are out there. I always try and challenge them, especially within myself. And that for me is, you know, my take on it. Again, I'll express it again. You know, even if you remove the cities and the stuff that we've built upon it, what people call nature and Mother Earth and these things, for me, is something that I question deeper. For me to just throw my arms up and respect it as something wonderful and beautiful is, you know, I'm not going to do that because I don't have any answers yet, you know. So for me, it's just about, you know, throwing caution to people, trying to get them to challenge any assumptions that they might have, you know. And it's the same for me. I've got to always challenge myself. And because I went through these things and looked at them, you know, I kept challenging myself to the point where, you know, as I was saying earlier, you know, all this spirituality and religion, it's all about you know, the assumed idea that this is where we're supposed to be and that it's somehow wonderful and valuable, you know. So.
And I respect you for tripping. You said the other day about even with the clan, you were saying that, say, an appointed or something, other clan members would challenge you, and you were saying you trip yourself up too. So if you get comfortable, get and test it and poke and prod it to really see if it's concrete and if it's holding.
Yeah.
Which is really healthy.
That's it. And bringing each other down, you know, reminding each other that we're no above each other. You know, and that, I even still employ that with our family unit. You know, me and the kids, we slag each other, take the piss, and, you know, poke at each other's insecurities, because it helps to build their strength, you know.
Yeah.
And remind them of who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you can't take a joke and have a laugh at yourself, it can be tricky for you, you know, because then you're at the mercy of everybody's comments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah. As I say, people see me in a serious light with this thing, but for me it is a serious subject. But there is no bigger kid or practical joker or MD up for a laugh than me. But, you know, again, I apply that where it's, you know, appropriate. And for me, I still laugh about this. I think it's fucking hysterical. But I still know the severity of the situation we're in, you know. And that annoys me sometimes, and I get frustrated with that, because I don't think people really do, you know, understand the situation that they're actually in.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it, that some people can talk with such authority? Like, that's to me at the moment what's quite fascinating in general.
Yeah.
That so many people seem so sure of themselves. Oh, you know, I'm a Nobel winning laureate, and therefore it's like this. and then you take that title away, and it's like, I'm Joe Blow, human being, flesh and blood, just like you, but here's how I see things.
Yeah.
You know, it's very staged, a lot of this human world, and it's a little bit Wizard of Oz too. Like, I can see where the whole Wizard of Oz thing comes in.
We're bought into these mental constructs, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of hierarchy.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I just used to talk to the air or whatever. It was just normal, and I'd walk around and just talk out loud. And it wasn't until my dad's girlfriend busted me doing it one day. And she said, "Oh, don't you know that talking to yourself is the first sign of madness?" And that was to a little kid, eh? Like, I was a little bit like, "Oh, fucking hell, what does that mean?" And I started tripping out. But I just thought, just it being my birthday and all that, I want you to know that now I've got that off my chest about my ancestry or something coming in and saying, just be careful. That's really the thing of I'm getting the internal dialogue to just show respect, and respect is earned. You don't just give it willy-nilly and freely.
Yeah.
You know, if someone's treating you like crap, you don't say, "Oh, thank you," or step on my back and, you know, kick me in the face, sort of thing. It's not like that. But I have a lot of respect for you, and I just feel that I've voiced that, you know, we might, until it's established, I'm with you. You're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna jump the cart or whatever. And, you know, I'm with you. but I just got a little bit of a tap on the shoulder, like, you know, you might be in the right place. You don't want to give yourself a stomach ulcer, and talk to the big man in Scotland over there, because if you can comfort him or bring a little bit of maybe peace of mind, not lip service, just some peace of mind that we might be in the right place. It's just the fuckery is extensive.
Yep.
And that's all that you do. I want you to know where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to bring us into some spiritual new age kumbaya.
No. I get you, mate. You know, again, as I'm not committed to anything.
Yeah, good.
It's just it's all part of the ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
If I look at this place and I opinionate that it seems to me to be an abomination, then, you know, if there's a valid explanation or a valid reason for why things are the way they are, you know, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
As I say, I don't have any beliefs. I don't have any bias for anything to be true. You know, I don't care. Whatever it is, it is.
Yeah.
You know?
More power to you. There's not many people like that on whatever the fuck this place is.
It's Mother Earth that loves us. Mother Earth is so wonderful.
I've even seen when I was in England, what the girlfriend I had, there was a classic scene of them dancing around a lounge room singing I'm a child of the universe. And they were all like holding hands, and it was like a folk song. It was hilarious. Like, I could still think of that. I don't want to hold the airtime or whatever, you know, anyone who wants to jump in, but you were talking about profound things the other day, and I had a dream as a teenager that's one of those things, if I could make a short film or something, it would be pretty classic, but I just thought you might find it interesting. So as a teenager, I was pretty into the draw, I must say. You know, I'd smoke bongs and go to school, and I'd go to class off my head sometimes too. And whatever, you know, it's what you do as a teenager sometimes. But I was going through some stuff. I was a bit disillusioned. I felt what I was learning in school was kind of bullshit. I did. But, you know, I was a teenager and a lot of adults weren't taking me seriously. So anyway, I had this dream, and I got into an elevator. I walked in, and there was a doctor standing there with one of those leather sort of bags that they have, and they carry all their stuff in it. And he looked pretty weird, and he just kept saying, going up, going down, going up, going down, going up, going down. And I was like, oh, no, I don't want to be in this lift. Anyway, so I didn't press down, I pressed up. And I pressed the button and the doors closed. And this doctor's just looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he's not saying anything. The doors open, and there was just this path. And I was a bit like, oh, okay. I walked out onto this path, and there's all mist everywhere. And I'm walking up this path alone. Doors closed. I turned around. The doctor was still in the elevator. Doors closed. So I'm there, you know. I'm in for it kind of feeling. So I'm walking up this path, and I hear this sound like a bog, like, oh, I was packing it. Keep walking, and out of the mist, this sort of hand starts coming at me, like a creature made of snot or in mud. Like, it was disgusting.
You seen the film Dogma?
No, but yeah, this hand's coming towards me. And I was like, oh, and I extended my hand, and this snotty hand sort of shook my hand, and I said, you know, who are you? And this is the interesting part. It said, you created us. And I was like, all right. And then it said, you can create or destroy us anytime you like. And then sort of let go of my hand and just slithered back off into the whatever. And then I woke up. and I sort of felt like when I woke up that I did feel like for a second, wow, I've got to say in all this what's going on up here.
Of course you have.
Yeah, that was a big one. It was just a dream, but something was and I've mentioned to Marshall too, like I've been someone who's got an imagination, but the fear really governed me for most of my life. So that's a lot of the reason why I've been sitting in with these sessions with you, because I don't know how honest people want to be with themselves, but you know, coming across Flat Earth didn't just give me a shake. Like, it kind of brought me to my knees, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And that's the serious side of it, because even that upheaval of, like, I still got this bloody globe lamp in my room. I've got no illusions about it anymore, but I can see why some people wouldn't want to let it go, you know?
Yep. There's so many aspects here. You know, people just like to think they've got certainty, and, you know, there's so many people who are happy in the delusions that they have right now. You know, there's so much complexity to this. It's not as easy as, you know, some might think at the naive early stage, that you're going to flip a switch and all of a sudden everybody's going to get it and it's going to be sorted out. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah. That's why to have somebody just to be whatever. Have you ever looked into personality types?
Yeah.
The only reason I'm asking is because I don't know if you believe in star signs and personality types, but to me, you're very anchored. You're very grounded, and you know, whereas some people are a bit more flighty, and, you know, there's all different types. So I'm sure that a lot of people who tune into you get anchored with you, especially with this subject. I mean, I can only speak for myself. I just feel so much more grounded now, and I really, to me, that's a relief. I don't know, it really is. It's a relief. And
Yeah.
like I've said on an earlier episode with you, that that spinning in space, until I had a distance from that and I could almost look at it like it was away from me, I didn't realize how psychologically and emotionally that was messing with me.
Yeah. Again, it gets back to, sorry, you know, we're talking about Terence McKenna and the likes. These guys' philosophies and the stuff that they spoke about was based on that assumption, that belief, you know. No wonder they were coming up with these things. Oh, you know, nobody's in control, we're on bewilderment. Fuck it. You know, where else are you going to end up when you know, you start for that base, that foundation? You know?
I reckon Robert Anton Wilson was legit as legit can be. I've heard a lot of his talks, and I get the feeling he would never use the rabbit hole analogy, as far as I know, but I heard him once just break down every conspiracy almost that is in the world. And you could see himself was sort of saying, look, there's so many of these things. And he call it the reality tunnels that people go into. Yeah. And but the more I look at Terence McKenna, not that I listen to him much anymore at all, to be honest, but when I was a bit more open to trippy psychedelic kind of exploration and people who've done that stuff, I don't trust that guy as far as I throw him now. Sorry, Terence, but I think you were leading people up the garden path sometimes there, one mate. Yeah. Because there's a lot of really simple things that come from psychedelics, you know, beyond getting really deep into the metaphysical universe and coming into contact with bloody God or spirits and green gremlins and alien life forms and all that sort of stuff, you know. There's just a thing about being healthy and yeah, not fucking going too far from what's, for want of a better word, unprocessed.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of the stuff I got, that stuff like McDonald's and processed and takeaway food. Yeah, that's just me putting my bit in, but
Sorry, there you go.
I sort of felt a little bit bad for a second there, because I know that people get invested in different dialogue and they have their role models and their heroes, and yeah, some of the people I grew up with and the stuff.
It's not, you know, that's the thing for people. It's not that, you know, we're demonising any of these guys. Like, same as everybody else, at points they had very valid things to say. Some of the things that they said helped me in my journey, some of my realisations. So there's positives in there, but when it gets to the crux, you know, who are we? Where are we? Why are we here? You know, some of these stories and the theories that these guys come out with, I can see where it's emanating from, you know. And being in bewilderment, flying through the infinite vacuum of space, you know, and then trying to rationalise and theorise about your existence from a false foundation. You know, where else are you going to end up but with stories like that? You know? But for me, it's time to move on. We don't need all this, you know, filling our imaginations. For me, that's part of the you know, the entrapment. You know, feeding our imaginations with these wild and crazy stories, when actual reality, if we go out and try and discover it, might be just as magical and wonderful, if not better. You know.
Yeah. I've heard. No, it's all right. It's all right.
All right, you go.
But I went to a rave back in the day, and trust me, but it ended up rocked in there at night. It was in a national park and it was raining, and in the night time it rained so much the river rose, and there were all these DJs and people on the other side of the river that were trying to get in, but the river rose and you couldn't get past. So the people who went in the night were stranded. We were on one side of the river and the people trying to get in couldn't get in. And it ended up being a natural disaster. Like, the river was up for about 2 days and we had emergency services come in with helicopters and do food drops and all this sort of stuff. But in the morning, before the emergency services and the army rocked up, there was this lady, and someone said, oh, if you need some water, go up and ask this lady. And I went up just not knowing what mood she was in or where she was at. And I said, oh, do you have any water? Like, hi, how you going? Someone said you had some water. And she just straight off the bat, just like ripped into me going, you know, your young generation, you know, you all take drugs, you're shortcutting, you don't meditate, you claim to be spiritual, but you're just all cutting corners. There's no real hard work. It really laid into me, and I was sort of like, look, you don't know nothing about me, but I hear you, but you don't know what you're saying, because I'm not a shortcut taker. But it was just really interesting that there is, I think people want to have a deeper experience or some kind of connection with something eternal, something inner, something important, a connection, but not just religion and the Bible. And if you have a connection with Jesus or whoever you believe in, bless you, good on you. If you're getting something out of that, I personally never got that vibe, but anyone out there who's getting that, go, good on you. But for me, I just wanted a natural connection, no intermediary, just me and me. And it was, again, pure and simple. No trip, no big rule book and jump through this hoop and then talk to the stars on Monday. Just something straight up.
Yeah.
And so I to cut a long story short, because I can waffle, I don't mean to, but I really feel that people need something in their life. It's obvious, like whether it's a partner, a good pet, a good friend, a good book, just something sometimes to just say, hang in there. I know this is weird, being alive, being a person, and forget about flat earth for a second, because if you can't even handle being you and standing on your own 2 feet, how are you going to deal with any of this big stuff?
Yeah.
So
That's good.
yeah,
That's the point I made a while ago. People, for me, they used to say, oh, the answers are inside, but I've done that internal work. I've had that journey, and I'm at that point now. Well, for me, I understand why people have certainty. They need certainty. They take comfort in things like you just say, a partner, a dog, whatever it might be. But for me, that all stems from this no knowing. If you knew and you had the connection to the natural history, the real flow of how things all came to be, you would be much more settled on the journey. But we're missing that part, and for me, that's causing chaos. Not even chaos, because some chaos can be good, but the confusion is the problem, and that's why people in that state are jumping to all these different things. If we had that true foundation, would we see many of the behaviours that we see? I doubt it. Yeah. But I totally get why people have these securities, these delusions. They need certainty.
I hear you. What do you think about I've never heard you talk about it, and I don't mean to put you on the spot.
That's twice now. Stop saying you don't mean to.
Yeah. No, I do. I love it. I love putting you on the spot.
Go for it.
Life's full of surprises. What do you think about the darker side that everybody sort of, I know everybody's happy to talk about the good and the positive. What do you think about the negative and the boogity woogity?
I don't know what you mean.
Okay, well, say because I made a video, the good, the bad, the ugly, and I was thinking about it this morning when I woke up, and I guess my premise is we're all happy to present our best self, but I think a lot of us hide our not so great stuff, the ugly side or the mean side that you might just have it in private, but it's in the background. and you know, you sort of try to manage it and govern it. And I for myself personally, I sort of see, you know, good and bad, or the force and the dark side. They can sometimes be at odds with each other. But what if those two things came together and there was like some kind of, instead of duality, like a unity between these two things? Because it seems that to me is the reoccurring theme, that there's a crew over here, and let's call them the dark side. They're just interested in getting what they can in a certain way. And then say the people on the force or the light, the way they go about things is very different to the other crew. And we're at odds with each other. You know, that the world seems to be full of good people and evil people, for want of a better word. And the last thing I'll say is live, the word L-I-V-E, just flip it around, you get evil. So it's just live backwards.
Well, I could interpret that as that living this life is evil. I mean, you know, getting into things like that, where we get into subjective, and what we build for ourselves and what we consider good, evil, that for me is based on my essence and what I am. But to look at, you know, somebody else's behaviour and they are what they are, their essence is what it is, for me to then say, well, that's their evil. You know, what do I do with that? You know, they just are what they are. Should I try and suppress, control them? You know, should they have the right to control, suppress me? No, you know, I've always said that. For me, there's a lot of things that I want to understand. You know, of course, I get internal things through my life where you can look at it as evil or the dark side. I think everybody has a bit of that in them. But, you know, what is good, what is evil, it's a subjective interpretation, as far as I can see. You know? I don't know what else to say about that, mate. You know? But that, you know, having internal dialogue with yourself, I have always said that. I think most people have. You know, you might speak out loud and people say you're speaking to, you know, something invisible, but that internal dialogue is always going on.
Yeah.
But that's the problem when we get into these realms of good, right, wrong, evil. You know, it's I still have more questions before I have any. You know, I've not got anything really to say about it just now. It's still part of the ongoing investigation for me. I know who I am, what makes me tick, what I prefer, what I look for. I can't then say because that's me, there's something else out there that shouldn't be because it's the opposite of me. Do you know what I mean? People fall into that kind of mindset, and that's where they're insecure and they think they have to suppress something else because it's a threat on, you know, what they are. And you can only be you, and that's it. If you know who you are and you stand and you're firm with that and you're secure with that, then what's the problem? You know? I don't know if that answers.
No, it does. It does. I just to bring it all together, I've come away from some of the crew, music crew, and I just need to take a break from it all. And you go to parties and you see people, and it can all get a little bit contrived sometimes. But I've just noticed there's a thing sometimes when you go to a party, you'll have people come up to you and go, "Oh, hey, man," and they want to hug you, and it's all love and this kind of thing. And so there's this thing I'm being presented with in my life lately that's peace and love and this huggy thing.
But it's the opposite, really.
Yeah, there's something in me that sort of goes, then you talk to them 5 minutes and you see this sort of glint or this darkness sort of thing come in. Darkness is too strong a word.
Just something that's different from what they presented.
Exactly. It's not as friendly as it seems.
That's part of the conditioning, the way society is. You know, people project these personas at each other. You know? And really that's not what's going on underneath.
Yeah. And that's what I mean, you know. See, with us, from the get-go, I don't know how long we've been talking, but I don't feel a change in energy or change in mood. Whereas that's basically what I'm trying to highlight here. You meet someone and the hug's there, but 5 minutes later you can see their brains ticking and they're sort of like sizing you up. And are you better than me? Is my life better than your life?
Yeah. Again, it just comes back to the being secure with yourself. It's the people who are not secure that display a lot of these kind of traits. And it's always competitive. You know, there's always unhinged behaviours popping up that you're like, where's that coming from? There's many people that.
And I can say I've been guilty of it too. You know, I have been of getting jealous and like, oh fucking, you know, that guy's girlfriend's hot. Like, why is she with him? He's a fucking nong. He's a nong.
Of course, you know, we all have these things. I had to deal with insecurity issues. You know, loads of different factors in my life that I had to deal with like that. And that's part of how you learn. If you go deep enough into yourself and you're not scared to face the things that are within you, the more that you do that, you can start to recognise all these traits in other people. You know? So it's beneficial for you just to open up with yourself and be totally honest about how you're thinking, what you're feeling, and not be scared. But there's so much manipulation out there that seems to try and govern that internal confrontation and dialogue that you have, you know. And people turn to drugs, they turn to antidepressants, they turn to drink, you know, rather than face themselves. They'll just, you know, keep pushing forward with a delusion. Regardless, whatever it takes, they'll keep going, you know.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it because that was a little bit. I don't want to seem like crazy, but sometimes I feel there's me. I know as best I can. I know what I am. You know, I'm sitting here with you right now. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm not a figment of my own imagination. I'm not in bed right now dreaming. I'm doing this. But occasionally there'll be something that feels bigger than me, give me an insight. And that's all I can say. It feels like it's in me, but it feels something kind of makes contact.
Yeah.
And illuminates something and sort of says, have you ever looked at it that way? And it's like, I can't really say for sure that that's me.
Well, maybe it's your contemplation and you're building the pathways, and then you have the connection where it makes sense. You know, rather than it coming from some other source external from you. You know, and that's just how it happens with you. You know, it can happen different with other people, and then people interpret that as, you know, a spirit, you know, gave me a message, or, you know, my granny came and visited me in my sleep and told me the truth, and, you know, it could just be you doing the internal working, and then when you have that bridging, you know, it's like a revelation that you feel as if came from somewhere else. I mean, I don't know, mate. I'm not ruling anything out, you know.
No, it's good because that's the thing. Like, I don't always have, and there is some kind of bridge or fusion occasionally that you're exactly right. It could be all me, different aspects, all at play, but sometimes I think it's something else, just discounting the fact that it could all be just me. And I'm with you. Like, I'm not trying to make this a psychology session.
It's important, mate, you know, because there is a schism. Obviously, when you're a child and you have an essence and you have a way about you, and then you come into contact with all this programming, all these ideas, these different things that are pushed to you, you're going to become desensitized to your actual essence and what you truly are. You know, again, for me, I had to sift through a lot of these things in order to rediscover who I actually am. And I'm not saying that I've totally dealt with every single aspect here. Of course I haven't. You know, there's still work there for me. But that's what it feels like. It's like a schism, and I spoke about this desensitization, and we talk about essence. For me, I already knew what I was from a young age, and what affected me, and what traumatized me, what, you know, I found acceptable, what I didn't find acceptable. And I always give the example of things like horror movies. you know, and if you take a child, like say with my essence at 5 years old, and you see a horror movie, for instance, and it has an effect on you, a traumatic effect on you, but through your life you keep experiencing these things, and you start to convince yourself that, oh, you need to deal with it, you need to be a man, you need to, you know, face up to things. Well, for me, what I see happening is that essence is still being traumatized, even if you're 30 years old and you view that. What you've actually done is desensitized yourself to your actual essence, and you've tried to rationalize it. You've built these blockers up to try and incorporate it and accept it into your life and part of your being, you know, when it's not really true. If there was guidance there on about you, you would have stuck to the truth of what you actually were, and you'd have stood up for that your whole life, you know. But, you know, I'm just kind of sharing a wee bit of, you know, my experiences and how I can see these things being, you know. But just a different way of looking at it.
It's nice. It's good because, you know, the clearer we can be. I'd rather have clarity. If I'm being honest, I'd rather have a real clarity, like, okay, that's my eyebrow, that's my nose, that's my gob, and you know, this is my brain, and there's lots of different stuff going on in it. But the feeling of a clear, it's just clear, it's simple. There's just a level there, a wavelength. I prefer that than being like all muddled and it's all spinning and woo, and then you're like, whoa, there's too much going on here. I can't concentrate.
Yeah.
And focus, you know, it's like a focus.
That's it. It's getting back to being a direct realist. Remove beliefs, remove all these assumptions that you've taken on board, work through them, eradicate them from your mind, because they are mind viruses. You know, when you get through that, when you've incorporated these things, and you know, through phases of my life, I used to sit on the edge of my chair, tense, with thoughts just running through my mind, racing, never in control of anything. You know, until I sit back and buckle in and start, you know, figuring out what the fuck was going on. And that's exactly what you do. You take all these things on board as if they're part of you. They should be meaningful to you. They're part of your experience, and they're nothing to do with you. You know. And it brings you right to this point, you know, who the fuck am I? Where am I here? What is going on? You know, and the sooner you can get to that and eradicate any bias that you might have, or preference that you might have, things get easier, because you're standing in a fresh place saying, look, I don't know anything here, you know, and nobody that I know fucking knows anything. You know? So I need to stop, you know, repeating and adopting things that are nothing to do with my direct experience, and just stick purely to that and be strict with it, you know, and it keeps you much healthier. Things are less confusing when you do that.
What do you think about people who...
By the way, sorry, I'm just going to interject, you know, for anybody listening to this. This is just guys who are sharing ideas and thoughts. None of this stuff we're claiming is actual reality or any truth. You know, we're throwing ideas and different concepts out here at each other. That's purely it. Sorry, Meron, you go.
I used to play in a band with a guy, a drummer. I was playing the bass. He played the drums. He always wanted to join the army, not to go off and fight. You know why he wanted to join the army? And I find this really interesting. I go, Harry, why do you want to join the army? What's with that? He said, discipline. That's what he wanted, discipline. He wanted that regimented, you got to get up at 6 o'clock, drop and give me 20. Yes, sir, no, sir, at ease, soldier. He wanted that.
That would be excellent if they were put to, you know, building communities and problem solving rather than destroying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I mean that you just said it though. When you said strict, I instantly thought of like, you know, some people don't, not to take away from us, but you know, that structure. So even again in school, when I was learning music, I would go with the sounds, and sometimes I'd be just in a groove and I'd just be playing a groove. And someone would go, what key are you in? and then I'd look and be, oh yeah, all right, yep, I'm in G here, and that the chord changes F to A and then back to G, and I'm like, yeah, all right, sweet. And I found in school there was a real thing about the theory. Again, so theory comes in, and sometimes if you were going outside of the theory and just going with the way you feel, and then you're playing the guitar and you let your mind wander and you go with the sounds, you're not thinking on the theoretical at all. So really interesting that it always is eking in this program, is fucking trying to get its hook in you wherever it bloody can.
Yeah, structure.
Yeah.
That's true for me, mate. You know, I get a bit better at it in my later years, but everything for me was Z minor. You know, I used to just play with feel, and that's where I wanted to remain. I get involved with, you know, trying to be technical and learning that kind of stuff, but it took the heart and soul at it for me. You know, I actually started to lose interest in playing music because of that. And I'm still trying to get myself back to, you know, just feeling and playing when I feel it playing. And you know, it can have a different effect, but I can get it with some people who like to communicate musically and speak to each other in that language, which is fine. But for me, I had to say it was much better when you stuck to the feeling.
Yeah. I guess even though you're you and I'm me, there's a thread I pick up on sometimes. And if anyone else wants to jump in, and should I jump out? Am I hogging the airwaves here?
Oh, carry on, mate.
If you're asking for a breather, Merle, Will Fobbin's waiting to drop in. Why don't you sit back for a second? We'll have a chat, and maybe you'll get a fresh breath out of it.
Fuck it, it can be the Merrill and Dell fucking show. In fact, fuck that, I want my name at the front. It's the Dell and Merrill show.
Nick's also going to pop in at some point when he's woken up sufficiently. And Jason, I've got your mails now. There is now a delay on this GMX today, so apologies to people if they feel like they're waiting, but sort of situation half out of our control, and we have got some other people waiting to come in. So, Will, are you there, dude? You gonna pop in?
Can't Will.
What's that, mate?
I know, I was just being cheeky.
Also, Brenda Von Olsen is in chat though, asking for the link.
Hi.
Yeah. I didn't know what your thoughts on that were. You know.
I've had enough of trolls.
Well, there's your answer, Brenda. Unfortunately, there'll be no airtime for you this evening, but you know.
Well, see, this is the thing. You know, where are all these trolls when you say that you're going to be certain places? Where you know, they hide behind these accounts online. You know, I'll put it out there yet again. Anybody who is willing to meet up and discuss this topic and provide proof for the globe, you can film it. We can film it and have a proper discussion. By all means, let us have it. You know. Sorry, Marshall. Can you just hold this a wee minute? I need to deal with something here.
All right, dude. Hi, well, we made it, man.
Hey, yeah, I made it. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're all cool, dude. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, Merrill, happy birthday, buddy.
Thanks, brother.
I'll send you something later in the via email.
Yeah, cool. I like your spinning globe.
Yes, you see, globes do spin, but they got to be plastic and inflatable. Okay, that's the way that works. So, and by the way, I don't know if you can see it back there, but I got my flat Earth sign, which people said I was out of my mind to carry that up on the street there and stand on the corner and spin it like a nut, which I was doing. It actually says on the back of it, research it. So I flip it over, you know, I do a little dance, you know. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
What kind of?
I mean, you get a big uptake from pavement walkers in North America, don't you? It's quite a common thing for businesses to advertise on the.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where I got the idea from, you know, is put a little spin thing on the back. So I kind of spin it, you know, and I'm standing and I got my music going, my headphones, my Turkish techno going. So I'm good.
Excellent. Well, just, no email or channel title on it then. So you'd be hard for you to gauge the feedback. But I'm pretty sure, because I understand that it is a social norm to pay attention to sidewalk advertising, in North America. So you're gonna get a result out of that, man, for sure.
I've had people in cars beep their horn at me, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Some people wave, and I have done a couple of street interviews, nothing recorded. Some negative stuff, a lot of negative stuff you can tell when you're talking to people. They don't want their little bubble destroyed. They don't want you coming over and taking their life away. So.
Well, I mean, you're not going to get 100% out of everybody, dude. But I mean, it's all good training for when you come across the genuine people, yeah.
And I've already come across at least 5 or 6 people that are seriously looking into it now, just because I've gotten out there and talked about it. So, I'm trying to get out 3 days a week, and I got the Sunday thing that I do. So, like I said, I'm being as active as I can. Of course, you guys. I don't know if Dell got to see that email yet, but I know you did, Marshall, and so you guys are covered on my end. I'm advertising for you as well, because I think that Dell can speak quite a bit better than I can on the subject. But Dell, hey, I got a question for you.
How you doing, Will?
I see you're back.
How you doing, mate?
I'm doing very good. First question is, I got my list here. And by the way, before I get to your question, Meryl, I want to tell you that I talk to myself all the time. That's the best thing. You know what? You always get to hear what you want to hear. So it's all good. Anyway, I'm serious, but I'm not serious about that. But anyway, how was your weekend, Dell?
It's been all right so far, mate. I was just going to say
that meeting thing. How did that go?
there was some nice, genuine people, but my advice to people is not to announce where they're going. And I'm not going to say any more about it than that. But
why you think there were people there that should not have been there, or? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're around. They're all over the place. They're like cockroaches.
What's up, mate?
And it's very sad. But I watched your video that I think you did on Thursday, and there was one point where you had your hand out, and I was trying to go back to that while I was watching today's video, and you were saying about if you found the truth out once and for all. My question to you is, so what is your plan after that when you do find out? Because I want to find out too.
Don't know, mate.
You don't know.
I don't know what the truth is. I just want, for me, I need to know that and then take it from there.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's all I taught. I mean, that is the number one subject. I mean, I'll walk into my local supermarket or whatever, and I'll say, the world is flat, right? It's going to be on the news tonight. Just to get people thinking about it, So it's pretty much on the tip of my tongue when I'm talking to people all the time, And I said before, I don't know if you got to hear that, but I got you on my business cards that I made up. Okay, you're on the back side. You're on top. I know you want to be on top, so it's all good. But anyway, because I don't really, like you, I think you said earlier today about the whole you getting discouraged with doing the online thing, So it kind of can be frustrating, to say the least. But even some of the person-to-person encounters can be very disappointing. I just want to, like I had this one sweet old lady tell me, you seem like a nice young man, but, you know, should you be spreading lies like that, you know? And I was like, ma'am, you're not understanding. You know, I wanted to just shake her and, you know, but she was a sweet old lady. But, you know, I was talking to a couple of people today, as a matter of fact, because I put my sign outside on my balcony here. So when people walk by, they see it. So I had somebody comment to me, oh, the world is flat. I said, yeah, it is. And I went over and had a talk with them. And so this is the case that I come across most, is where people they're so set in their life, they don't want to take it on. They don't want to know about it. You know,
Well,
you could see it after the third sentence.
Yeah, there was a couple of people like that yesterday. You know, what difference does it make? What does it matter?
Yeah.
You know, and I even had somebody saying, you know, do you not think people are too far gone? You know, what would you want to try and wake them up for? You know, and sometimes it's hard not to see it like that. Like, people are just quite happy to be apathetic and be delusional. But you know, but for me, I don't want to be like that. I want to know. So what should it be that because they're like that, I should be apathetic, no want to know, and because I want to know, all you know, they should want to know? I mean, I don't know. I can only be me and keep walking my walk and see where it takes me. You know.
I've had, yeah, I know what you're saying. I've had people tell me that. In fact, tell me that, yeah, you should just go with the flow, be apathetic, don't care. You know, it's not, you're not gonna save the world. And I said, oh yeah, I'm gonna save the world. I'm gonna save the world. Trust me.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean, there are some days, you know, where I just want to get the gun and I want to say, I don't want the gun. I want to get the gun and say, you know, what am I doing all this for? Why am I spending my time, energy, the little bit of money, extra money I have? Why am I doing this? And then I come right back to it because somebody special inspired you. Okay. So, and that would be you. So,
No, it's because you want to know. You know, if for me, that's what I see in other people. You know, I genuinely want to know the truth of my existence. You know, I don't think that's something you can just sweep under the carpet.
I've been wanting to know this my whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, I struggled with it for many years and then tossed it aside. We're having a big thunder thing here. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but
yeah.
I didn't even think I'd be able to connect, but it actually went pretty smoothly. Another thing about your videos, because I do have that list here, I don't want to forget anything. I was glad to hear what you had to say about the animals, because, you know, since 2017, I'm a full vegan. Okay, and I talked to somebody about that today. I don't know how you can, you know, kill an animal, you know, and you have a dog, you're walking with your dog there. Why don't you just put a stick up the dog's fucking ass and roast him and eat him, you know? And oh no, that's my dog, you know, I couldn't do that to my dog. Yeah, well, why can you do it to a chicken or a turkey? You know, hold up a stick of fire, chase them with the stick of fire, they're gonna run away from it. So, you know, and listen, I love bacon, okay? I still love the smell of bacon, but you know, I know that some poor animal has got to give up his life so I can be happy and have some bacon. So, no, it doesn't do it for me anymore. So that was I really liked hearing you talk about that, because that was really good. Another thing you mentioned today, which I didn't hear the other day. Hey, Meryl, sorry for stealing all your show time.
Not at all. I'm happy to listen to you too.
Okay, thanks, because you guys are pretty awesome. But the clan thing, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear about that, and I heard about it today. And I'm a definite fan of the clan thing. I think there should be, like, since I don't have a big family, most of my family is gone, like a neighborhood clan, you know, where people are actually, you know, taking care of the people that are around them. You know, everybody's looking out for me, I'm looking out for them. You know, I like that whole clan thing. You know, we can do the little cut the finger thing and the blood thing or whatever anybody wants to do. It's okay with me. But anyway, you know, I think I covered everything I wanted to ask you. I guess you're doing okay. I guess your weekend's going pretty well.
That's fine, mate. I'm just a bit drained and tired today, but other than that, it's been fine, yeah.
Yeah, I see your makeup guy didn't work on you. You didn't take a shower or shave. So it's all good, though.
Oh, I'm showered, but my sleeves were not available to have the shave or, fix the black lines under my eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh?
I haven't heard the posh voice in a while either.
No, I was actually going to invoke the posh voice tonight. Because I am hearing that there is some people out there that are not pleased with my vulgar use of the English language. So
fuck them. I don't swear that much, but let me tell you, your vulgarity is very refreshing.
Cheers, mate. Well, it's a pissed off situation, as I say, when I'm relaxed, that's just part of who I am. It's only a word.
Yeah. It is. And boy, I've been doing a lot of research on words, and boy, words have so many different meanings, don't they?
Yeah.
And I don't think the average man or woman knows what the words actually mean unless they look it up or do some reading on it.
So
Research. But hey, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I want to listen to what Meryl's got to say. And Marshall, thank you for your help. And Del, you're looking awesome. Keep smiling, buddy. Keep that posh voice going. I'll see you soon.
Cheers, man. Take it easy.
You too. Bye-bye.
Take care, man. Right. Meryl, you're on.
There's lots of Shazam. There's lots of good people in this community. I was going through that. I even mentioned it to Marshall. That didn't want to hog the airwaves and that that thing of like, I never this year, like, because it's been one of those days, where you reflect when it's your birthday, you reflect about your life and where you're going and highs and lows. And when I first jumped on, I not that I've watched it in a while, but I can remember how nervous and unsure. I didn't know how you were going to receive me. I didn't know if you were just going to go, oh, who's this guy? Get off, And the amazing thing in my life at different points, I've had moments in my life where I've had a triumph or something good has happened, and I've looked to those around me to want to celebrate it, and it hasn't always been there for me. And I'm not trying to feel sorry for myself. I'm just being honest. And the reason I'm saying it is it's amazing the warmth and the respect and just this kind of embrace that's happened in this community. Like it's it's quite a thing. You hear about there's let's talk about someone that this year for me, Itchy Bum, and now I hear that even Dan Pratt was mentioning Itchy Bum and saying, you called him out. Yeah, anyway, but we just you'll make a call and you'll say, be careful, just listen to the content, listen to the walk. Let's not join a fan club here. And then, other people are jumping on that too, sort of saying, well, just be careful, people. And that's what I like about this community. We're all open. We're being honest as we can be. And we've got to test each other sometimes too, just to stay level.
Try and stay in the level, that's it, mate. Jason, how you doing?
Hi, buddy. Yeah, happy birthday, Merle.
Thanks very much. Kick ass.
All right, cheers, buddy.
How's it going, Jason?
Yeah, really good. I met a fellow flat earther, Stuart, his name. I think he's probably in the chat watching it. I think really nice guy. We kind of like, we've been talking a little bit of, you know, you kind of inspired us to do a little bit of activism. I told you that probably haven't got enough confidence myself to go out and do some activism, but you kind of inspired me, and we had a meet up, me and Stuart. Really nice guy from Manchester. I was always brought up to call them Manx bastards, by the way. Anyway, he's a really nice guy, and so we've got it planned. I think for next week, next Saturday, next Sunday. So we've got our format and how we're going to be approaching people and what questions we're going to be asking. We're starting off. We're just talking about gravity to begin with. So we're going to be asking a lot of people about gravity, and the question is, to people is, what is gravity? Do you know what it is? And we want the response from that, because we kind of think that, I think about 70% of people would say, I haven't got a clue. I'm sure that's correct. And then, like some people, like they may turn around and say that they know what it is. I think some of them will turn around and say it's all to do with magnets. I'm sure because that's what I've already spoken to a few people, and they think it's the magnetism of the earth and things.
Yeah. But
not many people know that the scientific view of it all is to do with mass. Not many people know that.
Yeah.
But it's a load of bollocks. It really is. Me and Stuart, we sat down. We had this long discussion all about the Cavendish experiment. And I've watched a few experiments on the Cavendish experiment, but they kind of like they always seem to use metal balls and lead balls and things, and even lead's got is conductive, because I don't know if you were aware that, like Tesla, he always said that, objects that are attracted to each other, it's to do with static and and magnetism. So like we talked about this, and there's a chap on a YouTube channel right now. You might have heard of him. He's called Hith. Is that right? Hiith. He's a young kid, and he kind of explains it so well, but wrong. And I want to get hold of the little shit and strangle him. Yeah, he talks about this Cavendish experiment, and I got in there with a massive debate on his channel all about this, and you can all go and nip over to Hith and have a quick at his YouTube clip, and you can all help me out, and you can all back me up, because it's only me in there and I'm being targeted. But he's I've done quite well, I think, and like talking about I've been holding up flat Earth. Me and Del had a chat, was about a week ago or so, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was something like that. And Del knows where I'm coming from. I'm 95 to 99% sure that flat Earth is the right idea, and we don't know. A globe is not there. But as I said to Del, every fibre in my body is hanging on to that globe. Like to say, like, oh, come on, you lot, you're all bloody crazy. A lot of you're all stupid. It's so I've been hanging on to it, I'm finding it more difficult and more difficult every day to hang on to that. I'm still in the closet. I haven't come out yet to a lot of my friends and family, so I'm still in the closet. It's
I can totally relate to that. It was the same for me. As I explained to you, desperately tried to cling to the globe, desperately tried to find things to keep my belief true, but just couldn't. And the more time went on, the easier it got just to deal with it and let it go.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm into it. Is it about 3 months now? You said, what are you in? About 3 years or so? 4 years?
2.5 years, something like that. Aye. fuck, I don't even know what I've lost total track of time, years.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm 3 or 4 years into it now.
Feels like 10. Feels like fucking 10 years.
What it is that I study a lot. I study so much, and you know, like I had my life all planned out. You know, I was going to work hard until I'm 50. I've only got 3 years to go until I'm 50. I was going to work hard until then, and then try and retire at 50. That's always been my plan for the last 20 odd years. You bastards! You've kind of like destroyed it for me. All I can think of, and you know, like even when I go to bed, I've got my mobile phone with me, and I'm flicking through YouTube clips of anything to do with flat Earth and gravity and horizons and that NASA shit. You know, like and I'm a little bit like you, Dale. I'm getting angry with it all now. I've got something in the pit of my stomach that's saying it's not enough. I want to know more. I want to know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult. It's been really difficult. It has.
And it's been hard trying to, you know, keep that focus, that you know, disgruntled feeling, that anger, that angst. You know, and it gets frustrating. You know, because it is when that's where we need people at, is exactly at that point. You know, just saying, look, fucking enough's enough. I'm not accepting it. I want to fucking know the truth. You know?
See, we were talking the other day, and it was a little bit more of a joke, but I was trying to think of, is this real or not? And I actually believe that the moon is a globe. It is round. I don't care what anyone says. I know some of you all say, oh, it's a disc and all that. No, I believe it's a globe. It's round. But here's the thing. You're right. That's why water won't stick to a globe, because it's all fallen off the moon. You're right. There's just a little joke. But we got talking about. I got thinking about. I think I was talking to you about relativity and that. I've been struggling with relativity, and what it was is that I've just written a little bit down here because trying to remember. Mars is sending a rocket to Mars. Sorry, we're sending a rocket to Mars. That's what it was. I've written it down wrong here. The thing is, we've now been re-educated and taught that, like that, and it's something that I never knew because, you're right. When you're at school and that, you get taught nothing. I never got taught about the Earth. I never got taught about gravity and that the Earth is spinning. That's all news to me. I never got taught about that we're traveling 67,000 miles, through the solar system and around the sun. The sun's traveling, and then the Milky Way's traveling. Where's all this come from? I mean, I wasn't taught any of this at school. Never heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
So it's all brand new to me. But here's the thing: we're sending a rocket to Mars, and it will take about eight months. Now, I feel like you've heard the saying, you can't have your cake and eat it, sort of thing. Okay. Now, relativity says that if I'm in a train, okay, putting it this way, I've got to get my head around this because I'm only looking at you, Del, not diagrams and things. So I've got to think now. Relativity says that if I'm in a train and we're going at 100 miles an hour, that's fine, and I jump up, I don't fall to the back of the train. I land back on the spot because I'm in a contained container. Yes, I'm contained. And I get that, and that's okay. But the person on the outside who's looking at you and he's filming you going across, he still sees you at traveling at 100 miles an hour. Now, if I walk from one end of the train to the other at 5 miles an hour, I'm only walking at 5 miles an hour, but the guy outside, he sees me walking at 105 miles an hour. Okay? Now, the thing is, we're sending this rocket up to Mars, and we're traveling at 67,000 miles an hour, yeah? So when this rocket leaves the atmosphere, is that, because they're saying it's going to go at 20,000 miles an hour, and it's going to get there at 8 months, is that rocket going at 67,000 miles an hour as well? They can't have it both ways. Relativity says that, and the same with the ISS, if that's spinning round the Earth, and it's spinning around the Earth at, well, I think it's 15 to 17,000 miles an hour or so, something like that. But if that's going along with the Earth, that's traveling at 67,000 miles an hour as well, yeah? It can't not. It is, because that's what their stupid science says so.
Yeah. So
when that rocket leaves to go to Mars, that has to be traveling at 67,000 miles an hour. And all they have to do is, if Mars is going round the solar system, he just needs to go back at 67,000 miles an hour. And 8 months, really? Can they not do it in sort of like 3 months or so? So the logic is, it's flawed. And the same thing with the moon. You know, like, can we not use a trajectory to get to the moon in, well, we could do it in 4 hours, only 250,000 miles away. We could do it in 4 hours. I can work out the math. I'm not stupid. I think it's 3.8 hours or so. So it's the math. You know, it's like relativity. It is bollocks. It doesn't work. I think I read somewhere about Herbert Dingle. I don't know if you know him. Herbert Dingle. He did Science at the Crossroads. He was a friend of Einstein's and that, and he turned around and said that this relativity is rubbish. He tried to get it printed in, you know, like in their science journals and all that, but it's just they wouldn't allow it in. So he'd written himself a book, and you can actually go online now and you can download the entire book and you can read all about it. And he does. He kind of shows Einstein up to be, you know, like completely wrong. Relativity doesn't work. So that was one of my big things that kind of got me, you know, because I'm a very, very deep thinker. I'm not a philosophy thinker like Merle and yourself would just be in there. I thought you were all going to break out in poetry then. I really did. So yeah, I am a deep thinker, and so I've been thinking about relativity. I've been thinking about, well, I say that Hertz with the Cavendish experiment. I've been thinking about that, and they use, you know, like all these metal objects, you know, like with the Cavendish experiment, and what Tesla says, you know, metals? It's all they're conductive, you know. And he says it's static that's pulling them, you know, like into each other. Nothing to do with motion of the Earth and, you know, gravity and stuff, you know. So why don't they ever use these experiments with concrete? You know, concrete's got no conductivity. It's a good insulator. That's all they have to do is use big concrete balls as mass, and that's it. So, yeah, so I think the Cavendish experiment, that's completely flawed. We've been going through a lot of the experiments, me and Stuart, and but I'd like to try and see if I can replicate that experiment and build that. But the problem is it's atmosphere. It's gets in the way. You kind of need to do it in a sealed room, don't you? I don't think you want you don't want any atmosphere and all that in the way. Ideal conditions is a vacuum, but trying to build a bloody big vacuum, and you know, I haven't got money for that.
Yeah. Again, you know, I was speaking to a few people yesterday about that, and the vacuum comes up. And I always say that people, why do we always discuss things in vacuums? You know, where is the vacuum? Well,
yeah.
You know, for me, I don't live in a vacuum. I live in a pressurized environment.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's how things. It's how things behave in that environment.
We seen that Brian Cox, didn't we? He did the big vacuum experiment with the ball and the feather, and then we've seen it in space and that. And you're right. How does that relate to us? You know, it doesn't relate to us. We don't live in a vacuum. You're quite right.
No. Yeah. I want to know how things behave here on Earth.
Yeah.
In the natural environment, you know.
You yourself, you talk so much about water is level and that, and the same for it was Anthony Riley. He's another. I'm a fan of his as well. Absolutely fantastic. Between yourself, John Smith, Anthony Riley, fantastic. You know, like you're all talking about natural science, and it's it kind of your observations. It works. It's, you know, it's the truth. It works. And then when these guys start talking about their math, you know, like you know, physicists and stuff, and other people that are backing it up that have no idea how this math works.
Yeah.
They just do it as a belief.
Well, because the authority says that it's true, you have to believe in it.
That's right.
It was the same yesterday again, you know, speaking to a certain chap. I can give you an explanation. I'm trying to explain to him, look, I don't want your explanation.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about practical reality. You know, show me it in a practical form or it's nothing. I'm not interested in your explanations, you know?
Yeah. I did want to know, while I'm here, we talked about, you know, I'm still fairly new into it, and we've been talking about trolls and chills and things, and I'm never, I understand what you're talking about, a troll, but you know, like how you're spotting them and where they are and that. You just mentioned someone called Brenda Van Arsen or something. Yeah. You know, like, and as a troll and that, you know, like, how do we know these are trolls? And you know, have they done something, said something so bad, or because
you know, we've had experience with these accounts before, and we come up against a brick wall all the time, because it's a case of, you know, they want to ignore what we're saying, and try and give us an explanation, and then want us to accept their explanations as actual scientific facts, and it's not the case. So we come up against a brick wall, and I say, well, I start my foundation from using water as my measuring tool. I know how it behaves. It tells me that I live on a level plane. You know, they want to tell me, no, it behaves like this, it behaves like that. Well, show me practical examples, because I'm not going to move from that point. If you can show me a more accurate measuring tool in order to establish where we are, by all means, bring it forward. You know?
Yeah.
It's like we're up against a brick wall, and it just ends up a back and forward. It's not any resolve. What I've tried to say to these people is, look, if you're aware of this subject and you know how long it's been going on, the best thing to put your attention to is to get it into a wider audience, so that we can have it discussed, you know, publicly, openly, and then we can all have resolve and put it to bed once and for all, rather than taking your stance and trying to battle against other people. You know, I've not got anything to defend. I'm not claiming they're saying anything other than, you know, basing it on what I've been my measuring tool and saying, well, it's got to be level. You know? And that's it. There's nothing to argue. The rest comes down to practical examples of reality, you know, actually dealing with substance and how reality actually behaves. Not interested in the language, the mathematics, their explanations. But these people refuse to accept that. They keep trying the same things over and over again. So,
but on your journey going through into a flat Earth, at what point was you happy and content? This is flat, and all I need to know is water is level. You've obviously gone through all the many same subjects as what I'm going through now. You must have done.
Yeah, well, that's what I've done. You know, I had to be honest with myself and look at what the actual proofs were, what I could, you know, test and see for myself. And for me, I established that that's the only accurate measuring tool I have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And if somebody wants to tell me that it's some unspecified scale, the physics as I know it and test and observe every day in my reality somehow changes, it's up to them in order to prove that, you know. But they come back with the same arguments all the time. But you're right, I'm not going to digress into it. I had to go through the same process and look at all these different things, try and take them on board. And when I've done that, I whittled it down to, well, what is the actual solid proof that we have here? You know? And that for me is it.
Level.
And it's not, people say it's dogmatic, but you know, if we're basing it in science, I need practical reality. Show me some reason for why I shouldn't believe in what I'm actually testing and observing. You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Anyway, I'll let you get on. It's nice speaking to you again. For those of you who haven't joined Dell's Facebook channel, subscribe now, and that way we keep. Well, you've just kind of mentioned that you might not be telling people of meetings now, haven't you? So
I think if you're going to,
so you know,
I think if it's just a kind of social gathering, I don't think there would be too much of a problem. But if you're gathering for some activism in a group, then I wouldn't go advertising it.
Yeah, I can see. But the thing is, you know, like there's a lot of us that kind of need, I won't say companionship, but we kind of like need someone else to bounce ideas off.
Yeah.
you know, like to speak to people about it. And it's only because of, like me, myself, I haven't come out to all my friends and family now, you know, not fear of being ridiculed in that. I think at first it was kind of like fear that, oh, you lot are all crazy, and I've changed my mind. I've now found the truth. And yeah, I really just can't get I know which direction I'm going. You know, like, it doesn't matter how much research I've done. I mean, I've done research into every bloody area, and the flat Earth community have just got sound arguments. They've got sound arguments to it all, and then when you speak to Globers, as I say, I've been speaking to a lot of Globers on their own channels, you know, like through YouTube and that, and they just all resort to being angry. That's all you get is anger from them all the time, every one of them, because they can't come back at you with any scientific explanations. You can't debate with them. There's nothing that comes back. It's a one-way talk all the time. I give them lots of evidence and lots of proofs and that, and then they come back with you with nothing. You know, just anger and insults. That's all I get. So anyway, I'll leave you alone. You've obviously got a busy night ahead of you. So cheers, buddy.
Nice one. I'll catch up with you in the next couple of days, mate, if you're about.
Yeah, I will be. Okay then.
Nice one.
Cheers then. Bye.
Cheers, Jason. Nick, how you doing, man? With no sound, Nick. Oh, when you're getting a buzz.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Great.
How's it
Woke up especially for this one.
How's it going, mate? You all right?
Yeah, good, man. Good. No, really good. I mean, in the midweek, just to hear you really going beyond the imaginary curve. You know, there's a limit to how much you can argue about, you know, or just keep on telling people water's flat.
It's dementing me, mate. I've been saying the same thing for 2 years.
Yeah, but that's it, isn't it? You just keep people. Obviously, you get new people coming along, and you know what? And I've just obviously had these experiences all the time, you know, with and they just cannot fathom where you're coming from. It's a whole new world for them. You know, but yeah, I mean, you made some good points about nature and stuff, and you're right. You know, it's like, it's very harsh. It's very beautiful, but it's also very harsh at the same time, isn't it? You know, and like this morning, I woke up to some dogs barking, and they were basically they were tearing into a cat. 3 dogs ganging up on a cat, and that was it. I you know, woke up to see this cat getting ripped to pieces. What could I do about it? Nothing. And what can I feel about it? I feel bad, but that's nature, you know. Things, I mean, dogs are doing what they do, you know. I mean, it's nature in action. It was horrible to see, but it's something you just gotta get over, you know.
That's it.
Because, you know, we're born into this world. There's one thing that's certain, is we're going to die. Whether it's a quick or horrible extended death is anybody's guess, you know. But that's the one thing we got to face, you know.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. My kids, you know, I think at about 7, 8 years old, you start thinking about that shit. And you have to deal with it, don't you? You have to kind of, you know, you start realizing that one day, you know, I'm going to pop my clogs. So yeah, it's something we kind of have to deal with at an early age when we start working it out. but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that actually traumatizes us or how we, you know, but obviously it's something we carry with us all the time, you know.
I think it's because there's nobody seems to have any answers to it, you know. Again, I don't know if I look back and I say to myself that, you know, I feel as if we should kind of know. I mean, I don't know. Is it something that you know we had knowledge of, you know, what it's like, you know? It's just come back to that whole thing again, is it? Are we souls? Are we something after death? I think these are always the big questions in people's lips, you know.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning of this life, because before you become disillusioned by a lot of the stuff, you're excited and you're energetic and you're thriving on it, and the thought of it being taken away from you, it kind of scares you. But for me, I'm kind of past that, you know, and I'm disillusioned by a lot of it. But you know, even questioning the nature, it's just to say to people, look, you know, I can see it for what it is, but I don't incorporate it into myself as some sort of acceptance, or, you know, that something that I hold valuable or dear or precious to me. It just kind of is what it is, and I'm just kind of observing it. I've not made my mind up about it, what it is, you know. But so many people jump to a belief, you know, what it is, what the bigger picture is, what it means, you know. And I'm like, you know, I'm still observing.
Yeah. Well, easily done, especially when, you know, obviously if you've got these questions and then people in authority or whether it's, you know, adults or whatever, seem to have some kind of answer. So obviously you know, you can jump on that, and you know, anything that kind of gives you some kind of answer. And I suppose that's one of the biggest problems we face with the programming, the incessant globe programming is, yeah, I mean, you know, we have these questions and people seem to have the answers, and so we just get programmed into it. I was just wondering if I should imagine most flat earthers are kind of people that never actually got completely programmed in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, there's obviously there seems to be a limit to how far, you know, if someone's gone completely down that road, they're just never gonna turn back or even examine their own thoughts and their own behaviors and things like that. So
yeah, maybe that's for all we know, that's the way to be, you know. And it's us that are wrong. This might be an operation to identify us and round us up.
Yeah. Well, just, you know, past giving a shit anyway. Yeah.
That's it. Fucking whatever.
Yeah. But you know, there's no doubt that what we experience is suffering, right? I mean, in the essence of being alive is suffering, whether we're in love, whether we are hating, whether we're whatever emotions we're having, whatever desires, it's all suffering. And yeah, that's so death and suffering is one thing you can guarantee about this life. So yeah, trying to find a way to be, like you say, be the observer is what we have to do. And that's what's interesting about the Thais. I think in the Middle East they're similar, because they always refer to themselves in the third person. So if I was talking about myself, I would say, "Oh, Nick's hungry," or "Nick wants to go," you know. So right from the start, there's this understanding that you're talking about your body or that person, but you know, not necessarily the soul.
Yeah, well, that's it. There seems to be that when you look at it, that kind of duality. You know, that the body has its program, its desires. You know, it has a certain, you know, kind of software, if you like. But there's this occupier who has the ability to, you know, either go with some of these body programs, or you can override it.
Yeah.
You know, it implies a kind of.
Yeah, we wouldn't. That's it. Unless we actually look at ourselves, we don't notice. Most of the time we're just reacting. You know, that kind of reptilian instinct, if you like, whatever. We're just We're just and yeah, so it's very difficult to even just take that step and be the observer.
Yeah.
So,
And
but that's, go on.
some people say they're on autopilot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the base program's just running.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, of course, you also made a good point about, you know, when you're born, or any animal, I suppose, is born, you have to learn how to use your body. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Reptiles.
you know,
Reptiles don't know it.
I suppose not. No.
Are
Yeah.
things that are born from the egg. You know, I've seen that with snakes. I remember seeing it in a documentary years ago where they're born, they know what to avoid, they know what their food is, they know, you know, so there's different aspects of life. But for us, you know, we need to learn how to use the body. And that was, you know, with the materialists will say your brain and your mind is just your brain. And well, what is this eye and what is it that's learning how to use the fucking thing? You know, there's certainly a separation. There's something going on here. You know?
Yeah.
I can remember it. You know, I fucking can't reach that. And through your will, you can train the body. You can, through your desire, you achieve different things. It's like, you know, if you were just the body, you know, there wouldn't be this aspect that's experiencing it and having to learn how to operate it. As I just says, you can overcome. People call it meditating. You can overcome your genetic program, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, very interesting. Yeah. But of course, we need to be. I'm constantly making sure my little one is not sticking things in her mouth and things like that. You know, yeah, they just have no clue. Yeah. I've written a couple of notes here as well. Just on the whole. What I also found interesting about the Thai thing is just some of those things that we all commonly accept as or kind of know. For example, cats have 9 lives as well here in Thailand. You know, this is one of these things that just seems to be prevalent from all cultures. You know, that's a weird thing. Even though the cat I saw this morning, I don't know what life it was on, but that was that. Yeah, but yes, I mean, I'm all over the place. Sorry, but yeah, as far as the programming, you know, and things like I remember when I was a kid, just never being into the whole kind of pomp and circumstance of the royal family and all that. I just, you know, something felt it was just weird, and I didn't like it. It wasn't real, you know. And I remember, you know, I used to argue with my old man, and he said, "Well, it's good for tourism." It's more than that, and it's you know, it's deeper than that. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we see we're brought up with this stuff, but we can still become very attached to that, and kind of if that propaganda is taking place in another country, and we look at that and they're just, you know, if it was North Korea or whatever, some other country, we can look at that and think, oh, that's just, you know, evil propaganda, but wouldn't look at our own situation as being like that. It's very, very difficult to detach, isn't it, in any situation from.
Yeah, that's part of the whole hierarchy and that kind of structured way of thinking. As we were discussing earlier, a wee bit about clans and how things would operate, no letting anybody get above their station. But we have this structure where we have things like that, like a monarch, you know, these people who sit in gold thrones and sit above us all, you know. And you know, if you're buying into that, you're buying into that type of hierarchy, that, you know, mindset, then you're going to be ruled by it, you know, and you're going to be subject to it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think any of us really know how it all came about. We can't trace it back more than a couple of 100 years, you know. How did these guys come to power? What happened?
Exactly. That's the burning questions, mate, you know. There seems to be a definite sever of the true history anyway.
Yeah.
Because, you know, discussing that, if you look at the history and some of the architecture that's there, and they keep spinning that narrative of, you know, primitive, the further you go back, the more primitive you are. You know, if we were here for any kind of amount of time before, it wouldn't, you know, if a couple of guys in sheds can come up with a logical way of living that suits us, you know, we would have figured this out a long fucking time ago. So something significant went on in order to take us into this nonsense that we experience now, you know?
Yeah, you're right. It's something of biblical proportions. Yeah, it's you're right. It's like we do have amnesia, something. Do you have any idea or any kind of theories on how long ago any of this actually kind of was set in motion?
Having a few discussions, you know, about the late 1700s keeps coming up, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know, it takes you into avenues of thought, and I'm just theorising, you know, no any claims for anybody out there, that, you know, if there's some sort of infiltration went on, you know, a visit from somewhere else, I don't know. Is this something that's been going on for a lot longer? Is it an ongoing war where, you know, you could say some other race? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, there are clues here and there, but we just it's very, very difficult to put it all together. Do you think there are people that really know the truth? Yeah.
I think, you know, there has to be a trace to the chronological sequence of events to this thing's inception, you know. And I think that's been maintained somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
You got to pass the baton to someone.
What would you mean, Mel?
Well, I always wonder, say Donald Trump, he's got a son. There's some point where he's got to go to DT Jr. Boy, you're about to inherit a fuckload of power and a lot of wealth. And to maintain the family name, you're going to need to know that this bloke over in China, he might give you a hard time, and he's going to have a son, and he's going to try to steam in. And then, you know, that crew over in England, they're pretty powerful. And, you know, America's on top at the moment. So where Rome, you know, Rome fell as far as we know. And America seems to be the bully in the park. I don't know how America, I mean, the thing I always notice is I look at world currency. The GDP is very strong. It kicks the Aussie dollar's ass. Like, if I wanted to come to the UK now, like, it will halve the UK dollar. My money will halve.
Yeah.
So I wonder sometimes the currency says a lot.
Yeah.
About who's on top.
Right. Sure. Yeah. But that's also a kind of it's a bit of an illusion as well, isn't it? It's not necessarily that they've got stashes of gold in their banks. Yeah. It's all about perception, isn't it? You know, what is perceived as being valuable, I suppose.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really is. You know, they're constantly kind of changing that perception of who's the big daddy.
Yeah.
And you know, I used to work for a newspaper, and and dealt with several these financial advisors, and they'd write their weekly columns and stuff, you know, but ultimately they just waffle on for a page and never, ever, ever have any certainty about what's actually going to happen. They cannot give any solid advice about how any economy is going to go, the value of anything. Oh, well, you know, you might want to try blah, 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 you know, but they can, you know, it doesn't matter how much experience they have, how qualified they are. One of their rules of thumb is don't give actual advice. just waffle, you know, and use a few words. Yeah. So there's people that make their bloody living out of just giving financial advice, which is not really advice. It's just waffle.
That's good. It's good knowledge, because, like, if we knew what to invest in or how to make money, and we were all good at making money, we'd all be rich, wouldn't we?
Well, yeah.
And sometimes it seems really hard just to do that basic thing. School doesn't really ground you in how to make spondula.
No, not at all.
You got to figure that one out for yourself.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, most stuff you got to figure out for yourself after school. Yeah, it becomes you hit the real world and it's like, whoa. Nothing like they prepared me for. So yeah, but yeah, you know, obviously, you know, we can now see the programming that went on at school, and but I still remember the day they told me you're on a ball. I remember it clearly, and it wasn't. I'm like, nah, you know. And then of course when Flat Earth came along, then that was like, oh my God, you know, it was like, you know, 30, 40 years of wondering. Now, oh, there's other people that feel the same way. So wow, brilliant. It was very good.
I wonder if that was the majority of people when they were actually told it at first. Nah, no way. You know?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, yeah. But what alternatives are we given?
None.
Yeah.
The sway of the production of the images in the video is enough. If people were seeing it on the TV, that was the sway, that was the clincher. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you remove that, what does it have? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right, man. You're right. Yeah. It's just.
How come you don't fall off?
Magic. Fucking magic, Meryl.
I mean, that's what I said as a kid. How come you don't fall off?
Right. Yeah.
What was you?
Well, I'm down under. See, I'm upside down.
Yeah.
I'm hanging on to the ceiling.
The magical force is hugging you right now, Meryl. It loves you. Fucking loves you. Worship the G.
Oh, can you see the strings holding me? I'm in the space station right
now. But your point about clans, and stuff. I mean, yeah, decentralization is probably one of the keys to. Yeah, obviously everything's being centralized, but we got to go the opposite way. Decentralization, and then yeah, we get small groups of people that are specialized in their thing, and we can all feed off each other like that. And you know, different places are producing different things. And you know, I really like Michael Tellinger's ideas. Great that the guy's really kind of pushing to try and get something going. He seems to have kind of thought it all through.
What's his concept? What's the concept he's pushing?
Well, ultimately, no money, just
resources.
You know, sorry,
just resources, basing things on.
Yeah, Yeah, sharing resources, and so you basically contributionism is the way he words it, I think. You basically you do what you can, and he's the way he says you should start it is you have your community and you dedicate just 3 hours a week doing your thing, you know, whether it's digging in the garden or whatever, you know, and so that 3 hours is put into the community, and of course more and more people start doing that, and eventually you end up with products and produce and food and everything, and of course you're making it very, very cheaply, and you can then enter this, you can really change the market dynamics because you're offering something very, very cheaply. And so, you know, the village next to you is gonna eventually want to buy from you, and they have to join the club, and then boom, it takes off. So his thing at the moment, I think he's doing it in Africa, and obviously free or cheap or renewable energy is part of the thing, you know. So yeah, I mean,
sounds kind of similar to Jack Fresco and the Venus Project. I don't know if you've heard about that.
No,
that's tricky. I mean, that's something that's been going since he's had that going since the 60s.
all right.
So actually, an interview with him on Larry King, I think, 1970s.
Okay.
I started looking at it and getting a bit suspicious of it because it's still growing, and I think there's contributions coming in from some Hollywood people funding it into it. And he basically talks about the same resource-based economy. Cities are basically a university at the core, and then, you know, the homes and stuff extend out for that. It's all a learning centre, contribution, machines doing the farmland stuff. It's worth checking out. The concept's there, and, you know, well laid out. And he's old now. He's in his late 90s now, Jack Fresco. As I say, he's had this thing going since the 60s. But I started looking at it as, you know, a new way forward if we're playing conspiratorial mindset. And, you know, people have this idea of the human race being stamped on forever and total dominance, control over you. And I don't see it. If you're somebody who wants to maintain power, surely you need the people happy, you know? And things like the Venus Project could be, you know, what they call New World Order. These could be the types of things that start to come in, you know? Because it's been here for all that time, and slowly but surely getting interest and funding, and, you know, it's never been totally pushed under the carpet. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
worth checking.
it's difficult to do. Go on. But yeah, it's all these things are worth trying, because all we're doing at the moment is the same old shit over and over again.
What's that, mate?
So, and just what was I going to say? Oh yeah. I mean, you know, kind of going on to the whole kind of spiritual thing and everything. Yeah, I mean, in my mind, there's no such thing as nothing. So this whole idea of a vacuum of space and emptiness is just like that's really evil, you know, and it's not reality at all. They're kind of trying to give us this physical, tell us about this physical reality, which doesn't make sense, you know, the vacuum of space, but that also on a kind of you know, internally in our bodies or in our minds, whatever, however you want to call it, you know, once you whether it's meditation or whatever, if you get past that point where all the chatter in the mind has died down, and you get to this kind of quiet space, there is this kind of, I suppose, light or whatever that replaces it. There isn't nothing. There's always something there. You kind of you tap into the source. So yeah, we're in this body as a kind of energetic entity, and yeah, we're constantly distracted and by everything. You know, the five senses. So we have to actually, you know, if we're going to tap into the source or get into contact with you know, the source, then we have to kind of you know, cut off those five senses. But this woman I'm doing some projects with, she very clearly explains how you know, the sixth sense is considered kind of the sixth sense is really everything else that we feel that doesn't have a sense organ. So we've got our five senses, but the sixth sense is everything else that we, you know, that we kind of intuitively feel, or whether even if we feel tired. This is kind of our sixth sense of work, because there's no, it's not our eyes or ears or touch or any other sense that's telling us this stuff. So all the other stuff that all the emotions and things like that that we feel is really can be labeled as the sixth sense.
Yeah.
But of course, even you know, the medical medical scientists, they don't have, you know, they are obviously very aware that all this stuff exists in the body or in the mind, but they don't have any way of labeling it.
No.
You know, and
go
on.
There's David Chalmers, the kind of philosopher guy, he termed it as the hard problem. You know, when they get into philosophy of mind and body, you know. You know, and that's the thing. Nobody has an explanation. Nobody knows what it is. They can't recreate it. You know, they can't pull the mind out and say, "Look here, it's here." They can't pull your emotions out and go, "Oh, look, let's look at them. There's no substance to them." You know, it just gets labelled as things like that. Sixth sense. It's a phenomena that they keep trying to overlook and play down. You know.
Yeah, trying to ignore the obvious. That is it, isn't it? Yeah, we're taught to ignore the bloody obvious. You know, ignore the fact that it's flat. You know, ignore the fact that your senses are screaming out that it's you're not on a spinning ball. Ignore all that.
Yeah. Let's ignore this thing. Let's ignore the mind. Let's ignore, you know, emotion, feelings. You know, let's ignore these parts. They're just mechanical. They don't mean anything. Yeah.
It's just serotonin, mate.
Yeah.
Just chemical changes in the brain, like you're just a machine. Chocolate makes you feel the shit that you feel.
We could still very well be just machines, mate, you know?
Yeah. Machines with feelings.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's what people are trying to ultimately create, isn't it? You know, the artificial intelligence that can somehow. I don't think that can ever really happen. You can't. No. You know, people worry about this, but nah,
no.
You can't.
No chance.
Yeah.
I think they like to give the impression that they could, not that far advanced, but bollocks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You can't play.
No, you can program a robot to respond to me and seem intellectual, all it likes, and give me the right answers. It's never going to be experiencing, feeling, you know, intuition, emotion. It's no feeling any of that. There is no I within it.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Yeah. But you do, you know, you do find, don't you, this kind of, I suppose, part of the whole thing with people wanting or hanging on to this advancement, you know, moving the human race forwards, you know, whether off to other planets and things like that. It's based on fear. It's based on the fear that we're going to fuck up this world, or it's going to get hit by some massive meteor or something like that. You know, there's no, rather than focusing on what can we do now, what's, you know, it's all about how can we just how can we preempt the disaster that we're going to bring about on ourselves.
I think it's all geared because they're worried that we'll just leave. You know, you think about that, trying to keep people's attentions up into this outer space fucking nonsense and getting to these planets. I mean, why? know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're worried that we're going to discover something and leave.
Mm, mm.
That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's vision, man.
Hang on. Oh, cat. Come on, cat. Get out of the way. Oh,
At least you've got one. So many people are just like, what? Where am I? Oh, yeah. What? Yeah, I'll go to the moon. Let's build a hotel on the moon. That'd be great. Then we can look. We can put Pepsi. We'll put a big Pepsi neon sign on the moon. We can all look at it down on Earth. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is it. If satellites were real, they, you know, corporations like that would have their own satellites broadcasting, you know, live coverage and with their logos on it, you know, and things like that. It would be a
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Yeah. Just that was the vision of the future. I mean, I'm really into movies. So, you know, I've seen some future movies, and that's where the imagination kicks in. Like, oh, the future, it's all going to be like neon and spaceships and cyborgs, and you're not going to be able to tell that fucking who's human and who's not. And that's going to be the real battle here. Like, you get, like, you know, I'm heterosexual. You get a girl home and she's got like a robotic, you know, stuff. And, you know what I'm saying?
At least you could switch her off when she was annoying you.
and same goes for them, you know, like, you know, like it's always the blokes who are having to go at women, but, you know.
I just dipped my toe in a lake of fire there.
Yeah, you're going to get some help for that. Oh, but yeah, listening to the other guy just now, what was his name? Was it Richard? The guy that was on just before?
Jason.
Jason, that's right. Sorry, Jason. Yeah. He's 3 months in. Yeah. So yeah, I can imagine there's a lot going on in his head right now.
Yeah.
But a lot does happen, doesn't it? I mean, it's been wonderful to kind of watch, listen to your thoughts, Merle, as you've gone, you know, I mean, obviously there was a lot going on way before you appeared on Beyond the Imaginary Curve, you know, and we get to a point where I've got to talk about this, you know, I've got to get it. It's like, yeah, and that's this knowing that at least we've discovered some truth, and that's how much we don't know, you know, and then we can kind of start fresh. That's what's so refreshing about, you know, you, Del. It's like back to square one, you know. We don't know anything. Let's you know, start there, and then we can maybe make some progress, because we've been going far too far in the wrong direction, you know. So
it'd be great if people could get to that, man, you know, and we can pull together and we can have a laugh with each other. But we don't know where the fuck we are, but let's sort this out.
Yeah.
We know nothing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, imagine just waking up in a room or somewhere else that you didn't know, you know, who you were, where you were, how you got there. I mean, you're going to want to find out.
Exactly.
It's just a natural thing. But of
So
course, if someone...
Sorry, man, you go.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, that's it. If someone seems to have some answers, then all right, I'll go with that, you know, because we don't know any different, you know. But
it just comes a point when we need to give up on the books that were in the room, you know. Stop trying to get some sort of knowing from a fucking piece of written paper, you know. It's just as you say with that analogy, you're not going to, you know, find yourself with amnesia in a new room and start reading the magazines. where am I? You know, who am I and where am I? You know, is it in this book? You know, you're going to start going and touching physically the room and find the dimensions of it.
Mm. Mm.
And I think that for me, that's where I feel as if we need to go. If there's an internal journey or some kind of spiritual knowing, for me, that's where I see the key to it. The key to it is discovering it through the physical. You know, to reconnect with something that we're theorising that we think we've lost. You know, for me, that would be the step in order to rediscover that, because we're not going to get it. We've established that we're not getting it from, you know, throwing these ideas back and forwards at each other. It's not going to take us anywhere. You know, so where's the next step? For me, I had to realise, no, it needs to be done physically. We need to find out what's here and see if we can get some clues. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's a long haul, I'm sure, you know, but things are obviously accelerating. It's good to see. Obviously the internet, bringing the internet has helped a lot. I mean, look at what we're doing right now. It's great that, you know, we can share ideas and, you know, get active. And obviously, you know, the meetups and things like that are happening more. I remember, you know, 3 years ago, obviously we're all very disjointed but yeah, obviously now people are actually meeting in the flesh and that's all good.
Yeah.
You know,
it's great. Hopefully people keep up. It'd be great to see more of them happening.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will, because yeah, birds of a feather, you know.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it became a lot more socially acceptable now, you know. And as you say, a few years ago, it was so disjointed.
Yeah.
You know? There was just wee dots everywhere, you know. It was a few and far between. And it's great to see that. You can see how it's growing. You know, so you know that it is making progress.
Yeah, yeah. And actually quite, you know, at a good pace, I think, you know. It's, you know, as quickly as one could expect, considering the kind of enormity of the whole thing that's going on here. Yeah. So
don't get me wrong. I mean, yesterday being in that high street, you get a wee moment of realization again of the enormity of the task, you know. And there was somebody who actually had appeared saying something along the lines of, you know, why are you trying to wake them up? Look, they're too far gone. You know? And sometimes you have the moments where you see that and you're like, oh, fuck. Just come and tell me and then I'll go away. That's it. This is too fucking much.
Yeah. But but I think you said the other day as well, it's an inner strength, isn't it, that you know, if you're prepared to question and then, you know, all this stuff, it does require quite a lot of strength of character to even consider that things might be different to what we imagine and then carry on. And so yeah, there's but it's like a salesman, isn't it? You know, you knock on 100 doors, you might get one sale. There's a drive in that salesman who's okay, he knows or accepts that he's going to get 99 no's. And that one sale, that one is going to make it all worthwhile. It's just and that's almost a science. I mean, it's just a numbers game, right? If you've got this thing that you want to pass on to people, and yeah, speak to 100, and you might get one that will listen. It's going to happen. So.
But it seems to be happening a lot more frequent. There's more and more people popping up. I mean, even being in the high street with a few people stopping by who knew about the subject, knew who we were.
All right.
And that's happening more and more. But as I say, when you've seen it growing like that, you can see that, you know, in the last 6 months especially, there seems to be huge swathes of people, but still not happening quick enough for me, you know. I say, yesterday you have moments of that realization, like, fucking hell, this is still a needle in a haystack here, you know.
My dad gave me a ring to wish me happy birthday, and he said that on because I don't listen to the radio much at all, but he said he heard on Australian mainstream radio people talking about flat Earth, and so the fact that it's being spoken about on the radio mainstream too, and of course they're going to mock it and ridicule it, but the funny thing is I can see my dad's got the bug again. So that's what's heartening for me, because it's never been settled once and for all.
Yeah.
And Dell said that, and then when I took it to my dad and he was saying he was talking about it 30 years ago, I said to him, why were you talking about it in the first place? So the fact that it's in the air, whether you're a flat earther or you're a glober, it's in the air. The question's being asked again.
Yeah.
And if science is so sure and so on the money, just prove it.
That's it. That's back to my point, you know. It's not going away in the question that is there. So let's have it out in the open and see if we can put it to bed.
Yeah.
Regardless of what anybody believes.
What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, what's the big deal?
Yeah. You're right.
We're on a globe, aren't we? That should be easy to establish.
But apparently it is, Merwin. Me, you, and everybody else are retards.
Yeah. No, of course we are.
We used to believe it, and for some unknown reason we decided not to believe it, and it was just nonsensical, erratic, irrational mental illness. Yeah.
I love Carl Sagan. Love that dude. You know, I was there, hook, line, and sinker. I was on that spaceship with him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean. I bought into Cosmos. Was one of the things that came to me in my 20s, and we were watching that, and I went through every episode. Like I idolized that whole doco. But I mean, what a fucking mind bender. And you know, it works on a lot of people. A lot of people would watch Cosmos and go, settled, it's settled.
Yeah.
Carl said it. I love Carl. Job done. Money in the bank. Like, go now. Yeah.
Well,
you know,
I suppose they really believe what they're saying. You know, they might not necessarily have been intentionally deceptive. It's just, to them it makes sense. You know, to the mathematician, the whole thing makes sense. You know, ask them to draw a picture though, and they can't. But I suppose they've got some kind of picture in their head. But yeah, for them it's very real.
That's it. You know, you get that. It was the same again yesterday. You know, everybody would have to be lying, and it's not the case. And my point to them was, well, if I believed it for 37 years and I spoke it, and then I passed that on as if it was knowledge, was I lying? Was I deliberately, willfully lying about it? No, of course not.
Right.
It's the same for everybody else in every other walk of life.
Yeah, that's it. You know, and of course it's very comforting, like you say, Mel. You know, there's an answer. All right, I'll go with that. He seems to know what he's talking about. Yeah, and of course we're talking about something beyond anything that we can really touch, grasp, whatever. You know, so.
Can you see that?
The globe.
Yeah. It's like a lamp.
Oh yeah.
In my room. Like I used to have a picture of the Earth as well above my bed, like the blue marble. I mean, I loved it that I was on planet Earth. Don't take that away from me. I'm on this special planet like no other planet in the universe.
Mm. Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
other life in the universe but us.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Yeah, it's a huge attachment, isn't it? Yeah.
Whew. Have mercy. It's a big deal. I mean, everyone must have gone through this. We are Globers. Fucking hell. We are Globers.
Mm.
There's no
Yeah.
division here. Like, oh, I don't think the trolls they don't get it sometimes. The upheaval we've gone through.
No, they don't. They don't. Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right, because it's still, yeah. I mean, a lot of the people that you end up arguing with, they're sticking to the maths or the science, or well, the so-called science, and they're not even getting past first base as far as you know, thinking about what this all means on a different level. It's, you know, it's all it's just this yeah, it's just
Like
a one.
Like it's a joke. Like sometimes what I see unfolding, there's a detachment from it. It's like they're not taking it seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas you're out with a camera filming the water. I mean, that's a transition, mate.
True. Yeah.
They can say what they want. You know, I consider myself an ex-cult member. You know, it takes huge strength and strength of character to be able to, you know, remove yourself from a deep-rooted held belief that you've had your whole life. You analyse it and then move on from it. That takes, you know, a serious bit of strength, courage, and honesty. You know, so they can say what they fucking like. You know, for me, they're the weak ones. At the end of the day, they don't know, same as we don't know. But we need this looked at on a mass scale. And that's the camp they should be joining.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Stop the weakness. We can help you. We're ex-cult members. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's nice and safe. You'll be fine. You get a wee cuddle online. A wee online cuddle will make you feel good. Whatever.
No, you're right. You're right. I think, yeah, it's yeah, it's.
And I see your videos, Nick, like the comment section on your videos.
They're harsh
I mean,
sometimes.
Oh man, like you got a battle on your hands there. Oof. And I mean, sometimes your video's quite delicate. You know, you like especially the density and buoyancy one. And some of the comment section, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, you had salt water and you poured some fresh water in, and then I mean, that was amazing to me. That was great. Just showing how it works. You know, like natural science.
Right.
Real life example. Testable, repeatable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting. Like this is possible to do. Put some water in a freezer and freeze it. It's going to freeze. Like there is such a thing called reality.
Yeah. That's a separation that these people don't want to get. You know, the theoretical, mathematical stuff makes sense to them. Yeah, you know, we're saying practical examples. My version of science is based on practical reality, in, you know, some language. They refuse to let it go.
Yeah. They get very nasty, Mel. But yeah, like you know, it's just they're not actually saying anything apart from just shouting and screaming because it's it's upsetting them. Yeah.
And that's why I jump on the comment section sometimes, just to give you a bit of support, like just to let you know you're not alone there, and
Thanks.
people have got your back too, like, and appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, because obviously it can get you down. I mean, there's when you come out as a flat earther, then there's a mixture of paranoia, fear, and oh my God, if I and you double check yourself. Am I getting into some weird cult or religious thing, or you think about it, you make so it's not like we just delve in and but and I noticed that one time I took some I don't know, some Cassini pictures, and they were all obviously fabricated, and did a video on that, and I got a whole swath of new trolls that seem to be dedicated to this particular aspect. If someone's going to point out some mistake on one of these space images, as a whole, all these new people came in, and so the whole troll thing is obviously very organized. Yeah.
You said it at the same time.
Yeah. Best to ignore them. Yeah.
There's not that many real people out there who should be that dedicated to an intangible thing like space travel and outer space anyway. So it makes you wonder, who are these people that would be so dedicated and insecure, that they would have to, come and attack that? It's ridiculous. It's obviously organised, deliberate.
Yeah.
Because people really shouldn't care. They shouldn't have any investment really in the globe or the outer space model anyway. They've never experienced it. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I mean, emotionally, people are invested in it, obviously,
Yeah. But they have no substance. They have no real reason to really be that invested in it. So that tells me that psychology behind some of these troll accounts, and that it's not just genuine people.
Yeah. In a way, you've got to feel sorry for them, because if their life is dedicated to that, then they're not leading a truthful or real life. They're wasting their time. Well, it's their loss, really. If you're not spending your time working out who you are, where you are, what we are, then you're missing the point. So kind of my heart bleeds for them.
Well, they attack you left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Spit pungy poison darts at you.
But I mean, just knowing when you get a comment, that some sometimes someone will send me an email or something that, oh man, they'll let me know they kind of woke up or whatever, or something was said or video made a difference. That makes it all worthwhile. Just the one just knowing that there's people out there that are being are being put on this path of thinking for themselves and working things out for themselves by all the flat earthers. I mean, obviously everyone's got different ideas, but if people can, once you know that there's more and more people being open to that, and we're in that way, we're making progress. There's people are thinking, it's out in the open. So if it's like you say, Mil, if it's getting on the radio or whatever, that's it's all good. People are just okay. They're starting to think about it, and
the fact that it's even mentioned in radio is good anyway. And regardless if they're trying to ridicule it, they're just bringing it even more into the public attention, which you could look at as deliberate. You know.
Well,
Yeah, obviously we go on.
Dell got me thinking that it's a game. So if you've got a small group playing chess and they're really good at it and they know each other's tactics and they can beat each other, like it's like they can whip each other's asses, they're going to get bored.
Yeah.
So they want a new challenge. And the new challenge is, are these minions going to have the balls to stand up to us
Yeah.
and figure out where the fuck they really are? I reckon it is deliberate. I reckon they're saying, it's like Antonio the other day with Dell. They're going like this. Come on. just a little closer. We'll keep dangling the carrot just a little closer. They're loving it. I'm no expert, but they're loving it. It's exciting. You know, this, even the way Matt Powerland puts it, like, oh, he was at a party and someone from NASA dropped the bombshell. You know? Like, that might be happening in different circles. It's like you go into a back room and someone's doing some cocaine and it's some old dude and he's got some weird spectacles on and you're like, oh, who's this guy? And he's like, did you know the earth was flat? Come with me, I'll tell you all about it. I've got like a boatload of people. We're going to go off world right now. There could be all kinds of weird things going on that we don't know about and we're not privy to yet. But the fact that there's this awakening, I think it has something to do with honesty, and the truth resonates with certain people. It's right because they're honest anyway. Like, I've never met you, I've never met Dell, I've never met Marshall, but from the little I've had to do with all of you, there's an integrity and an honesty in the core of all of the four of us. And I'm sure that extends throughout our species, that some people just are honest. They're not full of shit, you know? They're just not. Not saying we can't be full of shit or have a joke or have fun or jump around like, you know, even if I drank heaps of alcohol or something, I'm sure I could say some stupid stuff. But I'm just trying to give the example, like I can still be a dickhead, but there's something in my core that's real, for want of a better word.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. And I think last week you mentioned something about, it's the honesty and trust. It's a trust issue. Yeah. Obviously, you know, being in this, in nature, there's it's a, you know, there are predators and there are prey. I mean, that's unavoidable. I mean, there are certain people or certain things we cannot trust or have to be wary of. But yeah, when you do establish some kind of trust, that's an amazing thing. It's very solid. Even if you trust that person to be an asshole, you know them, you know what kind of reaction you're going to get, as long as you you know, you can in Thai they have a, sorry, go on.
You can rely on it.
Right. In Thai they have a phrase when they talking about a person has a tiger face, because tiger, you can never tell. You don't know if that tiger is thinking that you're going to be lunch or what. So a person who has a tiger face is a person you can't read them, you know. And it's I think it's just a very good analogy of reality. You know, there are just some things you just got to be cautious of. And of course, in the kind of contemporary Western world, we're brought up in a very kind of cotton wool environment, aren't we? You know, very, very protected. But then, of course, we had that fire in London, the Tower Block fire. I haven't researched it too much, but I mean, if people were just like staying in their rooms because that's what they were told, that's just insane that people won't think for themselves when their life is in danger. It's like, it's just, I don't care what anyone tells me, I'm getting out. But incredible that people would actually be that zombified to not think for themselves in a life-threatening situation. Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, constant vigilance is the key, man.
So,
yeah.
Listen, guys, I'm going to shut off shortly. Been a pleasure.
Thanks, Dal.
No problems, guys.
All right, man. Thanks very much. Yeah.
Appreciate you coming. I know what time is it there. It must be. What?
Nearly 5 a.m. So, yeah, I'm up now. Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on, mate.
Yeah, good to meet you, Nick.
All right, Mel. Okay. Thanks a lot, Del and Marshall. Catch up soon.
Take it easy, man.
Cheers, mate.
Okay.
See you later, man.
Cheers,
Thanks,
bud.
mate.
I'm just going to read some of these texts out quick. All right, Dale, just a quick one to say watching you do the street activism has shit me up. To be honest, at the level of brainwashing people is unreal. Not much critical thinking at all. Unfortunately, they literally all have the same responses. Worrying times, mate. I've literally had friends and family annoyed and arguing, debating the flat earth. The programming is strong, my friend. Certainly is, man. Dale, I was gutted I missed the meetup. I had to be at my wage slave job, Law. I hope to be at the next one. Brian Ofsky, nice one, Brian. We need to find another way of hooking up and discussing where we're going to go. Hi Dale, I'm still new to this. I don't know where the hell we are, but you are certainly making it an easier journey by reminding me not to listen to negative comments and go with my instincts. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Fuckity fuck fuck work. Hi Dale, this afternoon both the sun and moon were both visible in the sky, yet the moon was only half lit. Can one of your viewers explain what is getting between the sun and the moon to cause a shadow on the moon, because it's clearly not the earth? Cheers, Andy. They'll say it's the angle of the sun and, you know, where it's shining on the moon. But again, you can see that when you can see, you know, a line between them when it's in a phase, and you should be able to see. There shouldn't be a line there. Shouldn't be shadow. The usual bollocks. Again, nothing about the sky proves anything about the shape of the earth that you're standing on. So, Marshall, Magumba, Jonah Worms, thank you very much. Everybody in chat, take it easy. Cheers, people.